Zones to bring the traditions together. Ice cream meets chopsticks. Big ground-pounding NASCAR Winston Cup cars square off on a track best known for the whine of Formula One cars. It's the 97 showdown. East meets west at 180 miles per hour on the main straight at Suzuka. 125 laps to be run for 30 competitors. 174 miles on a 1.4 miles, tricky 8-turn road course. And you're going to see it live on the Superstation TBS. Here's where we are today, just down from Tokyo. Perhaps the most famous road course in Japan. It's the NASCAR Thunder Special, Suzuka, #2 on TBS. Hello, everyone. Ken Squire, pleased to be with you for this historic race meeting that dramatically broadens the world of NASCAR racing. Picture this, 17 series champions are in this all-star field, and they represent 3 continents. 4 of NASCAR's top racing touring divisions have champions ready for a go at the very best from Japan and Australia. It is indeed a unique runoff when you have Winston Cup champions like Rusty Wallace and Dale Earnhardt up against the Craftsman Truck Series champions. You have this year's champion Jack Sprague and Ron Hornaday and Mike Skinner, and the 2-time Grand National champion Randy LaJoie. Then to top it off from the Winston West comes their new 1997 champion Butch Gillian against the very best drivers from the Pacific Rim. Now, what's at stake here, all the point money's been counted up for the season, is really pride and honor. As important to every one of these drivers is prize money itself. Now, a lot of major stories have been taking place, and perhaps the biggest story of this weekend is Bill France Jr. on his arrival here in Tokyo. Light heart attack, a mild heart attack. He is in a hospital in Tokyo and resting comfortably and doing very well, thank you. The company expects Mr. France to make a complete recovery. We're going to have more on that story for you, but it's all good news on Bill France Jr. Now, as to the other stories that have been developing here, a historic time yesterday, and 19-time Winston Cup winner Buddy Baker is with me. We really saw some history made in the training and in the qualifying period.
We did that for sure. Yesterday it rained. I mean, rained hard. The tires, Goodyear rolled out the rain tires. The guys went out. They qualified on rain tires. What a day. Goodyear was very pleased with the efforts they had. The tires, the drivers, everybody got along very well.
Now, what is this going to do as far as the future is concerned for racing in the United States from what we saw yesterday?
Well, what this does, it just knocks one full day of people worrying about whether they can be there for Monday's race or not. They can run in the rain now, so Sunday will be it on the road courses back in the USA.
Now, the other thing is, with all of these different tours on one track, most of these folks haven't seen each other before. Many of them haven't.
Well, they don't know the styles of each driver out there, so they're going to have to learn. This guy may be more competitive than they think. They run in there, think he's going to give way, and all of a sudden he cuts across the hood. They have to watch each other.
We could tell you more about that story from yesterday, and Steve Burns has the story.
For the first time ever in competition, NASCAR crews bolted on rain tires. Nervous crews watched television monitors as the first brave souls rolled out with windshield wipers on.
Today I had concerns when I said, hey, we're going to have to go out and run in the rain. I went, what? You got to be kidding me. Well, okay, we knew we were going to do it. That's the reason we had the windshield wipers and taillights and all the stuff.
Hey, it ain't too bad on the backside. When you start shifting gears, it hydroplanes.
Oh, there it goes again.
I've run from cops in the rain before, but never on a racetrack, and it's different. And I don't know, Goodyear's got a pretty good tire. It's pretty cool, and I've stayed on the racetrack, man, so far, so this is good.
I tell you, the biggest thing is watching out where the puddles are on the racetrack. As that water runs across the racetrack, it's slick as snot.
These rain tires were a big hit on a rainy Saturday. The drivers loved them. Now, each tire was hand-grooved in England a year ago and shipped over here, but they weren't needed. So they went back to a warehouse in Charlotte and were shipped all the way back where, on this weekend, they made history. A slick track wasn't the only problem. Just seeing the track was a trick. Even the 7-time champion went mud bogging.
Well, it's actually fun. You know, it rains harder at times. We ran real fast and did okay, and then we went back out and it rained some more, and we got to slipping around and got off the course a little bit, so you just got to heed the rain.
Dale Earnhardt said he collected enough gravel on that run off the track to start a few aquariums. Could start his own business, I think.
Well, let me tell you, Dale Earnhardt told me, he said, you go down in the corner and the tires hold so well that you think you really have it under control, and all of a sudden when it takes off, you're very happy to have these gravel pits to run off in. It saved his car.
8 tough turns. We're going to take a look at the course itself right after we take a break here. High noon at Suzuka as we get ready for this second international contest for NASCAR. The sights and sounds of Japan. No, that's not Baker. In front of the Children's Temple here in Suzuka. Welcome back as we prepare for racing just minutes away. Drivers are rambling around out there getting set to cinch up and go for 175 miles. The guy who won it last year, he's a feature this year for sure. Alan Bestwick with Rusty Wallace.
All right, Ken. Rusty led 3/4 of this race last year from the pole and went to victory lane, took home the inaugural winner's trophy. You practiced yesterday in the wet. You're going to start today in the dry. Will that experience of last year be a big advantage for you over Mark Martin?
Well, I hope it would be. This is the same car we had here last time. It was running really great. It's the first time I ever qualified in the rain. That was real something yesterday, but the guys did an excellent job. I'd like to say hello to Rob and everybody back at home. We're trying to do the best job we can, but we're going to use the same setup. We didn't get any practice. Same tire pressure, same setup, same everything, and the guys are ready for them, so we're in good shape.
Last year you had a halfway break in the race. You came up with a winning strategy on that. This year there's no break. You're going flat out. Does that change the way you approach the event?
It really does. We had like 11 caution flags last time, and we stopped halfway through the race. There was cars yesterday running out at 45 laps in the rain, so we're a little concerned about that. Look for us to hit pit road sometime after 25 laps to get inside our window, and I think we'll be okay.
All right, Rusty, good luck today. Rusty Wallace starting third. He's the defending winner of this event. Ken?
I can't ever recall when we've had a race where you went out and ran on tires that you've never run on getting into one of these events. Do you remember anything like this?
Ken, we have several things. I've never been, in 35 years of driving, I never started a race that the pole man didn't have one lap of practice in race conditions. So, hey, we're in for something we hadn't seen before.
They switched to dry tires. The rain tires have been put away for sure with blue skies out here at the present time. Now, as to this course and how you drive it, we have a little peek from this guy, Baker.
We're going to take you around the course and show you a few places that a lot of drivers get in trouble, and I'm very lucky to have two of the guys that raced here last year, Wally Dallenbach and, of course, Ron Hornaday. And right at this part of the racetrack is one of the fastest parts. You're running about what?
Well, Ron and I figured we were about 170, 175 mile an hour going into turn one, which makes it real tough on the brakes.
Ron, after you get into turn one, then you get into turn two if you're lucky enough to make it that far.
Well, it's a different road course. A lot of the road courses we don't downshift twice. We're in fourth gear coming down the straightaway. We grab third, and then we go into second. And we got to get it around there. So you run in second gear through turn two, and you make that one even corner all the way around it.
As you can see in the background from all the black marks where cars have skidded off, we're in turn two, one of the most difficult parts of this course. And last year you were pretty, you got through it pretty unscathed, but did you make a lot of passes in turn two?
Well, you can. If a guy slides up a little bit, you can get underneath him. It's one flowing corner, so if you hit it just right, it feels really good, but it's hard to hit it just right.
Ron, I saw you a couple of times when you didn't hit it just right. Earnhardt put you on the outside here, right near the first part of the race.
Just like Wally said, it all sets up into turn one, and that's where Dale set me up to get underneath me in turn two. And you really try to set this corner up so you can get to turn three and the rest of the S's.
This is turn 6 that you see. This is a very fast part of the race course. You're climbing the hill here, but it's also a blind corner. What's it like running that fast and not being able to tell what's in front of you?
It's pretty difficult. This whole section here, right behind us in front, is a rhythm part of the racetrack. And after you get to run a few laps, you kind of know where the track goes. So you just kind of go through it and you kind of know where it is. So that's what you aim for.
Ron, how fast would you be running here?
Well, you're running second or third gear, depending on what transmission you have. But you're running flat out through here. But the whole deal is making sure nobody's on the other side of that deal. He's already talked about the rhythm through those. You got to worry about the guy with crashes on the other side getting through the dust. That's why you have great spotters.
Well, guys, this is the last part of the road course, turn 8. What is the real tough part of turn 8?
Well, this corner, for me anyway, I think a lot of guys, the toughest part of this corner is just staying on the racetrack. It's a right-hander down the hill, and whatever your car's doing, whether it's tight or loose, it gets magnified because you're turning right and going down the hill. So it's tough getting off this corner.
I think it's the funnest part because it's the last turn before you get to the checkered flag.
Yeah, I mean, that is a corner, too. It's uphill, double apex, downhill. It's got everything.
Well, let me tell you about Hornaday. He's already tried it backwards off that corner. I know what he was celebrating when he got that far around the course.
Let's meet the guy who is on the pole for this race. He's with Steve Burns.
And that would be Mark Martin, Ken. Now, get this. Mark has never even been out of the United States, comes to a track, a country he's never seen, and it's raining, and you sit on the pole.
It was a lot of fun yesterday. I have been, to Canada to race, but that didn't, seem like going to Japan, which is quite a trip. But the racetrack was really neat, and Goodyear had a fabulous rain tire. We had a lot of fun yesterday, and I'm pretty nervous about the start of this race. The front row in this race has never driven a lap on dry here. And so I figure we're going to stack the field up pretty good going into turn 1.
Now, Mark, I read one of the press releases before this race, and you're talking about your experience on road courses, and you said, heck, I'm just a redneck from Arkansas.
Did I say that?
Yeah, that's what it said.
I was supposed to say hillbilly, but anyway, yeah, it's the same thing as when I was a teenager. I mean, we drove on dirt roads that were hilly and curvy and drove as fast as you could all the time, and of course, you wanted to stay out of the ditch, and that's the same thing we did here yesterday. Running on rain tires is like driving on a dirt road. So it was a lot of fun, and I'm just, I hope that we're competitive today. We don't know what to do about gearing, setup, shocks, springs, bars, all that stuff. We're going to give it our best shot. We're real proud of sitting on the pole here, doing it in the rain. It was something that was uncommon, and it was neat, and we're real proud of that. We hope to be competitive, but if we miss it, we miss it. The circumstances, the rain just dictated that we didn't get to drive on dry. So, thanks to everybody that's supported us on this trip, Valvoline and Cummins and Ford, Goodyear, and all those folks, along with Kosai and Komatsu and the people, over here in Japan that have supported it and made it all happen. We're going to give it our best shot here today.
All right, now, folks, keep in mind, 22 of Mark Martin's Winston Cup victories, 4 of them have been on road courses. Let's go to Kenji Momoto.
Okay, thank you, Steve. So, Tsuchiya, okay, king of sliding. So, starting from the 7th position today. Actually, yesterday, the condition was wet, but he was all over the place. He slided a lot. He likes to slide. But how about today? So, actually, the weather changed a lot. So, what's going on? So, with the 天気だいぶ変わりましたけど、今日どうなりますかね。
いやもう本当にアメリカのトップレーサー、トップドライバーたちっていうかもう最高のドライバーですね。彼らとレースができるっていうことが非常に嬉しいことですし、もうとっても素晴らしいレースですから、スリリングでアグレッシブでかつジェントルマンなレースを心がけて、皆さんの胸を借りようかなと思ってます。
What he said that actually this is the best drivers, okay, from the United States. So he is very, very glad to have this kind of opportunity today. So he's gonna be very, very gentle driver today. But okay, so that's
レースできないですかね。
Okay, he said he wants to race in the United States. Do you have any? Do I have any ride or something? Okay, let's go back to Ken Square.
He's called the Drift King.
I tell you what, I wish we just had footage to show you guys how he ran in the rain yesterday. What a driver. I tell you what, he's got talent. I watched him, and he's welcome in the United States. If somebody wants to put a guy in there that'll put 100% in the driving, he's the one.
If you want to see somebody slide like a sprinter on pavement, that's the guy that can get it done. Toshiya, he's the leading Japanese qualifier. He will start in 7th position here today, and that will be shortly. Some of the youngsters that make up the scene here in Suzuka. Sounds like a chorus trained by Buddy Baker. In the final countdown to the NASCAR Thunder Special Suzuka on the Superstation TBS. 30 cars getting ready to ramble here today. Good crowd coming in under clear skies, a little on the cool side. Recently, Brian Scheimer of the American bobsled team took a ride around Charlotte Motor Speedway in a Winston Cup car with a little help from Jeff Bodine and Randy LaJoy. Here's what happened.
There's Brian Scheimer just went by. He thinks he's over in Japan. I told him this wasn't like bobsledding. He had those seat belts and that helmet.
That was a heck of a fix. That might hold me off till the Olympic Games, I guess.
You passed, right, Randy?
I was out there. I'm driving through. I'm like, my legs scared. I cannot believe you guys do this for 500 miles. I mean, it's so intense.
It goes by quick.
Still shaking. Still shaking.
Catch Brian Scheimer and the rest of the American team and their quest for gold beginning Saturday, February 7th on TNT from Nagano, Japan. Let's catch up with a man who's starting outside of the front row. Australia's top stock car driver, Steve Burns, is with Jim Richards now.
Those of you back home in the States may not recognize Jim Richards, but in Australia, he's a legendary driver. Jim has won the Bathurst 1000 5 times, and that's their version of the Indianapolis 500. Jim, you start second today. Quite an honor and a great job by you and your team.
Thank you. Yes, we've been lucky enough to get invited over here to compete against the Americans, and it's just great to be here. Just not only to meet them face to face, but to be able to drive against them is great.
You told me that you have run in the rain in Australia. You have a lot of experience. Today we've got a beautiful day. What does that say for your efforts today?
Well, I suppose we're a little bit underdone, you could say, because we haven't had a chance to drive this car in dry conditions since it was built. So we're virtually guessing the setup, and hopefully during the race, if it's not quite right, we may be able to change it slightly. But basically what we've got is what we've got to live with.
Quickly, your goals for today. What do you want to accomplish?
Well, obviously, I'd like to finish the race. I think a realistic goal for us would be to try and finish in the top 10. Anything better than that would be great.
All right, best of luck, and let's go back to Ken Squire.
The man everybody's talking about, wherever he races, of course, is the Intimidator, Dale Earnhardt. Let's see how he's going to make out with our pit reporter, Kenji Momoto.
Okay, so I'm with Mr. Dale Earnhardt. I believe this guy likes Japan a lot, right? So can you eat sushi several times?
Yeah, sure. Love it. That's why I came back.
How about sake?
No, I'm easy on the sake. I got to drive today.
Okay, so you spend a lot of time here in Japan. Actually, this is the 4th trip, right? So you know everything, that you know the track and everything. But actually, yesterday you got the first time on the wet. So how do you feel right now?
Well, it's it's great to be back over here. For one, it's we ran second with Rusty here last year, so I'd like to win this year. We qualified in the rain yesterday. It was a lot of fun. First time for us, and the rain tires. Goodyear did a great job with the rain tires, so it was a lot of fun. It was a new experience for NASCAR. It's sort of a testing session for them, so we may see that happen back in the States now. So something happened for us in Japan for the first time that may make a difference back in the States for our racing.
So how about today's condition? Weather changed a lot, so you changed the machine setup a lot?
Not really. Our setup's basically the same as last year. We just adjusted a little after our notes from last year, and the track should be the same, and same tire and everything. So we're in good shape and ready for the race.
Okay. Do you have any message for your hometown? Canopolis, North Carolina.
Soon. I'll be home soon.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. This is Dale Earnhardt. So he's going to be the man today. So back to Ken. Thank you.
Okay. Coming up, an update with NASCAR's Mike Helton on Bill France Jr. this Sunday morning. So stay with us here for the NASCAR Thunder Special Suzuka, some of the beach here in Nagoya. On a Sunday about 12:30 here in Suzuka as we get ready for this special event on TBS. And let's get right down trackside this moment. Get an update on the condition of Bill France Jr. Let's get down there and find out from Mike Helton himself.
All right, Ken, this is Mike Helton, NASCAR's Vice President of Competition. He's the man in charge here at Suzuka. Mike, how is Mr. France? He's in a hospital in Tokyo. How's he doing?
Alan, he's doing pretty good. I got to talk to him last night for only a couple of minutes, but the first minute and a half of that conversation was getting directions from him on what to do. So he's still very much in charge. He is recovering. The medical fix was successful. They checked him out. Everything else is just fine. The most complicated thing now is to get him back home, and the long trip will require him to be very well rested and as physically rested as he can be. So it may take a few days to get him on a plane, get him back home. But we're all very pleased with the progress. And Dr. Bruce Kennedy, his son-in-law, was with him. Gary Smith, the NASCAR employee that was traveling with him, who reacted very quickly and very properly to get him the medical attention he needed, are with him, and as well as Brian France, his son. So he's well watched after at the Narita Red Cross Hospital. They're taking very good care of him, and we're pleased with the progress. He did want me to pass on the appreciation from himself, Betty Jane, Lisa, Brian, and Jim France, and all their families of the outpouring from not only the motorsports industry but the entire world that has reacted to this little hitch in his schedule. But he wanted to be sure that everybody knew he's still very much in charge, and he'll be back as quick as he can.
Mike, this is the second of the 3-year plan racing here in Japan. 2 races on the schedule for the 3rd year. How is it going? Does NASCAR consider the progress to be what was expected?
Yeah, we think so. The enthusiasm over here has been very good, and it continues to build as they learn more about our style of racing. There has not been much exposure in Japan about NASCAR Winston Cup racing, and so last year was a long way into promoting that. This year it's grown even more. There's more enthusiasm building to the point to where Suzuka itself has developed a true American-style oval track, the Twin Ring Motegi, which Gary Nelson and I were there earlier this week to look at. It's a beautiful facility, one of the nicest ones that he and I have ever seen, and very much ready to run a race on. And we look forward to being back in Japan next year at the Twin Ring Motegi, and I think everybody will find it very exciting and very, very interesting to be there.
All right, Mike, thank you for taking a minute to update us on Mr. France, and let's hope for a good race today.
Thank you, Alan.
Mike Helton, NASCAR's Vice President of Competition. Ken?
Motegi, 214 miles an hour by Jimmy Vasser the other day in one of those Indy cars you saw there, one of those kart cars. Let's go down to Bertie Martin from ACUS, United States, here for the command.
With great anticipation for a wonderful race, and many thanks to our Japanese hosts and motorsport fans, gentlemen, start your engines.
Cars coming alive, 17 champions in that field ready to race. What is the Japanese racing culture? Well, it can be a little different than what you might expect. Let's take a brief look from Alan Bestwick. Past Friday, he checked in on some of this stuff.
So you sent me out to find some local culture. I'm a race fan. I found a local racetrack. Well, we don't have anything like this at home. They call it drift car racing. Stock passenger sedans that do anything but go straight around the racetrack. Kenny Wallace and Kenny Irwin came with me. They decided they wanted to try their hand at it. Wallace went first. All right, so he didn't do any good. Irwin got behind the wheel for a spin. Well, despite their best efforts, they brought the car home in one piece. Japanese drift car racing, our heroes at their best.
See, that's us. That's how you do it.
Unbelievable stuff. Of course, the steering wheel's on the t'other side in these cars, and so that's why you saw them kind of switching around a little bit. Okay, we're getting down to it, just about ready. That starting order and the field ready to roll out. Take a couple of preliminary laps in this 8-turn road course, and we'll be underway with this special race from Suzuka. The art of issei katagami, the art of making stencils for textiles, developed in Suzuka sometime back in the 15th century. Mr. Rocatini is one of only 4 men who still craft this ancient cultural skill. Back ready for the NASCAR Thunder Special from Suzuka on TBS. A little after high noon, let's take a look at the AutoZone race analysis, buddy, as we get ready to crack this one.
Well, you see $564,500 there. That's a lot of money, and there's a lot of good race cars here, believe me. The length of the race, 125 laps.
175 miles?
Yeah, in the starting field with 30 drivers here. The pit window will be somewhere around 40 to 43 laps. The pit road speed, 35 miles an hour.
Let's take a look at the starting grid for today's race. This all-star cast from 3 continents preparing for competition. Mark Martin is on the pole with Australia's great racing champion Jim Richards alongside from Melbourne. In the second row, you have Rusty Wallace, the '89 Winston Cup champion, and Mike Skinner, the former Craftsman Truck Series champion. This year's Craftsman Truck Series champion, Jack Sprague, is there. The former Daytona 500 winner, Jeff Woodine, rounds out row 3. Row 4, that's Tsuchiya, the top Japanese qualifier, and the 2-time Trans Am winner, Wally Dallenbach. Row 5 has Ron Hornaday, last year's Craftsman Truck Series champion, and Nakaya. In row 6, it's Randy LaJoy, 2-time Busch Grand National champion, and David Green, who won that title back in '94. For row 7, the 7-time Winston Cup champion, Dale Earnhardt, and from Winston West, Scott Gaylord. Row 8 today is Michael Waltrip and Bobby Hamilton carrying his new colors on the number 4 for Morgan McClure. Row 9 is Kenny Irwin, the former USAC Midget champion, and Billy Sedgwick is alongside. Row 10, Butch Gillian, the new Winston West champion, and Kevin Culver. For row 11, you have Lance Hooper, former Winston West champion, and also Rick Corelli has carried that title. Row 12 is Kenny Wallace and Fukuyama there, 2-time Japanese touring champion, car number 23. Sean Woodside, the runner-up in Winston West this year, and Ricky Craven are in row 13. Row 14, Larry Gunselman and Jeff Davis. Getting back to the final row, and there you have Wakita. He too has been a champion in Japan. And John Kinder starts beside him in that number 08 Chevy. 30 competitors ready for this go.
And you can see them moving cars back and forth there. That's putting some heat in these tires. They did not get a chance to even scuff the tires, so that's very important to get them up to temperature.
In cars, the Valvoline car with Mark Martin on the pole. There you have him, the pole sitter right in there behind that pace car that was brought in specially for the event. There's Kenny Wallace, starts back there in 23rd.
Kenny will be, we have a driver cam on him, a front bumper and a rear bumper cam on it.
EC Sports Car, EA Sports Car. EA Sports Car. And then you have Toshiya. He's race in 7th position, the leading Japanese qualifier.
We have a suspension cam and a bumper cam on Tashio.
Tashio ought to give us a wild ride out here. He sure looked exciting in qualifying. Take a look at the weather on this Sunday afternoon at Suzuka. Temperature about 60. The winds have died down. It was really blowing up this morning. Humidity at 77%. Partly cloudy day. All rain yesterday. So they've gone from rain tires to dry tires, and not a lap have they turned until we see them out here in these preliminary laps.
You're watching Mark Martin there, sawing back and forth on the steering wheel, getting the temperatures up, also getting all the debris off the tires. They start into turn 8 here. You heard some of the guys talking in the open about going into turn 8. You can see us downhill and almost off camber.
Pit window ought to be between laps 40 and 43. Again, that's 35 miles per hour on pit road today. Mark Martin on the pole at 1:02.279. That was a new way of qualifying from last year. They put 5 cars out at a time, and it really seemed to work well. Up and at him. Down for a start. Green is out, and Mark Martin takes a quick jump.
You can see Mark there. He knows getting to the outside to get a good angle on that corner. Going into turn 1 is very important. Now he'll go right to the bottom. 3 wide as they head into turn 1.
That is somebody's out of that corner.
That's David Green. He's on the high side, 96. You see the 28 of Kenny Irwin. He spun out. And the 08 there of John Kinder.
So in turn 1, they've collected 3. I think that'll bring a caution as they come around to complete lap number 1. Ooh, and Kenny Irwin got all torn up. In that Texaco Haviland car, that one got thrashed quick. First lap, first turn, Kenny Irwin in big trouble.
The bad part of that damage right there, that's where the brake scoops and everything are at. As the field comes down, you can see they're coming towards the start-finish line.
Completing lap number 1, it's Mark Martin, Rusty Wallace coming across 1-2.
Jeff Davis is the 14 car that you just looked at with a lot of damage to the front of his car also.
So the first turn of the first lap in this 125 lap contest collects 3. There's the 08. It's down as well. It took a pretty solid hit. John Kinder. Take a look at what happened out here. Buddy Baker?
Well, you can see they're 3 wide coming down in here. Everybody's on the brakes pretty hard trying to slow down. I would bet the contact starts right there. You can see Kenny Irwin right there in the 28 as the car slides off there. That's David Green. Everybody knows there's trouble up there. What happens is everybody jumps on the brakes and it's just a chain reaction.
That's sure what caught Kenny Irwin. So 3 cars stopped in the corner. Another 2 got bumped severely from the rear. Second look at that one.
I'm looking at Ron Hornaday. He was involved also there. He's turned around backwards. You can see the 14 there. That is Jeff Davis. He gets around. Look at the nose damage on the 14 car as he comes. He's the one on the inside there that's torn up pretty badly.
From the Winston West, Jeff Davis in the Team Van K Racing rig. There's John Kinder's 08 still in that gravel pit down there. We'll take a quick break and be right back. Suzuka taking a toll in the very first lap of the Thunder Special.
At least.
Back with you at Suzuka, picking up the pieces after lap 1, first turn crash. Let's take another look at what happened out here.
Well, Ken, you can see everybody there 3 wide heading down. You see Mark Martin knows to go to the high side of the racetrack. Now watch everybody as they start in the corner. Hard on the brakes here. David Green gets offline and gets out in the sand trap. As you can see the dust coming from the gravel pit there. And behind him, everybody's trying to slow up, and they're getting rear-ended there. And that's what caused all these cars to get in that wreck.
Here's Steve Burns down there with Kenny Irwin's car.
Ken, heavy damage to the left front side of Kenny Irwin's car. The crewmen working in the engine compartment. They're going to have to take the radiator out. They've got a new one on standby right here. A lot of liquid fluids draining on the pit road, so heavy, heavy damage. Let's check in now with Alan Bestwick.
A pretty similar report on Jeff Davis. They're going to have to replace the radiator on his machine. It's a long way to go from Anaheim to Suzuka and not get through the first lap, Ken.
When they come around They will have completed 4, 121 remaining, 169 4/10. Didn't take long for the pieces to start flying on this one.
Well, you know, that front straightaway is so wide, and you go down there 180 miles an hour, and somebody runs off course, you don't know whether they're coming back on the race course, and hey, you have to slow up, and somebody's going to get you.
You saw that Toshiya in the RL Carriers car. Just a moment there. We check in on the in-cars. Well, that really took its toll. There's 2 or 3 really bent up, and a couple that have been hurt some out there. Don't know how serious that is, but we'll check it out. Steve Burns, Alan Bestwick, and Kenji Momoto with us. He was with us a year ago for this event at Suzuka. Tell you, the guy that's on the move is Wally Dallenbach. What did he start 8th, comes up to 4th?
Yeah, he's running very, very well, but a lot of these cars right now, we're just lucky to get through that wreck. You see, it's just almost impossible when everybody spins in front of you. These guys really did the right thing by not overreacting and getting on the brakes too hard.
Major point is not to overreact, particularly on a road course. Just no place to go. It's very tight in that turn 1 area. That's not wide down there at all as you head into turn 1, buddy.
No, it's very narrow, and it also sets you up for the real bad corner, which is turn 2. So when you get into 1, you say, wow, I finally made it, and all of a sudden you see you have big problems because 2's right on you.
1 lap and they will be racing, so they'll come down unofficially on lap 6. For some reason, our scoring is totally out of kilter today, and we have no official scoring coming in yet, but we'll try to keep you ahead of it as much as we can.
Okay, you see turn 1 there, Ken. Down that front straightaway, 180 miles an hour, and you're on hard braking getting into turn 1. That gets the car a little bit sideways. You run to the outside of the turn 1, and then you kind of cut across turn 2, and that's where the action starts.
38, 40 feet wide down there, so it really shortens it up considerably as you take that first turn.
Well, you can
and it's
see
the fastest place on the track.
Yeah, and you can also see the straightaways are big enough to put 3 cars sideways on. Here, if a car gets sideways in this portion of the racetrack, it blocks the entire groove.
And that's right at that critical first turn. Into turn 2. You know, buddy, I think we've got about twice as many people here this year as we had a year ago.
And next year it'll be that many more. And once they establish a fan base, hey, it'll be just like in the United States. Huge crowds, and people love their racing over here. They just have to get used to it. Woo, what is that?
It's a fireman. It's a fireman.
Whoa. I'd help him put it out if he run up on me, I'll tell you that. Woo.
Well, Mark Martin brings them down as we get set to go back under green. We've got in about 800 to 1,000 feet of green flag racing thus far, and then the fur began to fly. And as we get them ready to go again, Mark Martin will be in first, Rusty Wallace will be in second, and Jim Richards, who was praying, he is called the Rainmaster in Australia, and he was praying they were going to run those rain tires. He thought he had a real chance. He feels he's about 100 horsepower down in this car as he brings it into competition here today. And that car is from over in Vancouver, Canada.
Yeah, well, you know, he's called a Rainmaster, and for good reason. He's great in the rain, but he's doing a great job right now. Even though we've only run 1 lap, he's dropped only 1 position. He's running pretty well.
Field coming down, and we're ready on a restart. And on the jump, it's a quick one by the number 5. Jack Sprague is going to move around the Australian, take over that 3rd spot.
You know, Ken, just as we said that, Richards had a terrible start in the 09 car. You can see him there. Look at Rusty Wallace putting the pressure on Mark Martin as they head into turn 2.
Some great racing here.
Yeah.
Mark Martin, first appearance in Japan. Rusty Wallace, defending champion. Hard at it for first place. 2
absolutely of the best in NASCAR as far as road racing. You can see Richards there pull right back up into 3rd place, so he's doing a great job of keeping that car in contention, even though he does not have the fastest down the straightaway car.
Back around Jack Sprague, who has to settle into 4th. Now we've got a car off over in the S's.
That was Scott Gaylord. He got in the gravel there. You can see in the 67 car getting back on course there. Everybody's still going, no yellow.
Bodine is in 5th as they come down the main straightaway. Skinner is right there in Dallenbach. Whoa!
You can see Richards getting down in the corner there. The 3rd place car too hard on the brakes and almost missed the corner. He's offline just a little bit now as he goes into turn 2.
heaviest race car he has run in. Winston Cup car. A little lighter, those cars they run in Australia, and that make a difference.
Kenny made up about 12 or 14 car laps on the first and second place car, though, by running deeper down in the corner. I'm sure he didn't mean to lock the brakes up. Wow, is he ever quick down the front stretch.
Number 9 coming on to pit road, Billy Sedgwick in the Bleachley Racing car. Let's go to Steve Burns.
Ken, they've got their hands on their hips down here. They've got an oil leak. They don't know what caused it. They're underneath the left side of the car, but a tough break for Bill Sedgwick, a former driver in the Craftsman Truck Series.
Dale Earnhardt coming to 8th as they come down the main straightaway. Earnhardt working his way through this field carefully, taking his time. Started in 13th position. Earnhardt now up to 8th. And we've got another one smoldering off that corner.
You see Jack Sprague there in the number 5 car. That's Terry Labonte's regular Winston Cup road racing car. Very fast right there. Looks like Rusty Wallace has a problem.
Wallace slowing down, dropping back. Has he broken something? It sure looks like it. Rusty Wallace. And Earnhardt's into the fence. Earnhardt hard into the fence. Second caution is out. Second yellow coming down. Martin picks it up with almost 2 seconds. On Richards in second, Sprague in third as they come back to the line. And here's Rusty Wallace struggling to get back on pit road.
You see Rusty Wallace unable to make it back into the garage area to have the car worked on, but I saw a lot of smoke come out of that car just a second ago. Rusty definitely in trouble. Dale Earnhardt hard into the outside wall.
Second caution of the day. Earnhardt, big trouble. The runner-up a year ago. He's okay, or appears to be. Do you see the net down?
Well, the car, I want to explain that car there. That's foam rubber that he's parked into there. It may not be as much damage as it looks like it is, but you see his helmet off. He's calling it a day right now. He's putting his hat on now. That's his regular baseball hat, not a racing hat.
Big Braves fan. So Dale Earnhardt, who came through with that runner-up position, finds himself out of it. Richard Childress there on the right, looking on, anxious, talking on the radio, probably to the spotter. Looked like there'd been a disconnect from Earnhardt on his radio, and he's walking away. Steve Burns can tell us more.
Ken, we're down here in the pits. Richard Childress, Larry McReynolds, and the guy watching the TV monitors here that are in each garage. They said that Dale radioed in and said he thought he had a right front tire going down, right front tire.
There's the story. Right front went away. Earnhardt's number 3. Let's see what happened. Just in front here. He got clipped.
Well, I know exactly what happened there. He and Toshia got together there in the green car and probably cut the valve stem out of the wheel or either cut the tire itself, because once he made that contact, he ran off course, went back on the course, and went straight into the wall. So he blew the tire out because of rubbing it.
Toshia in the 01 that had qualified in 7th. Here's Alan Bestwick.
Ken, Rusty Wallace's team is already packing up the pit tools. They believe they seized the bearing and have lost the engine on the car. Rusty going to come back into the garage and take it straight inside the stall. You see the team clearing away the tools, and here comes Rusty now. 10 times during the 97 season, they fell out of a NASCAR Winston Cup race. This could be 11 today.
9,000 miles for 10 laps for Rusty Wallace, last year's winner of the NASCAR Thunder Special Suzuka. Back with more right after these words. Looking down on the Suzuka race course here in Japan. 1.4 miles, 1.395 to be specific. Watching Mark Martin thus far dominate in this event. Very nervous this morning, concerned that he was running on tires which he had never competed, never practiced on. didn't have a chance to qualify on as they ran those rain tires yesterday. Now there's Toshiya in the 01 car. This was the 23 car, the Travis Carter car of a year ago that Fukuyama crashed right down there in turn number 1.
Yeah, and you can see the left front corner of that car where he got into Earnhardt. That's the problem that Earnhardt had. He cut the tire down and just sent him right into the wall.
Alan Bestwick is with Rusty Wallace.
Rusty, too early to be talking to you back here. What happened?
It was way too early. We just lost a motor, and that's about it. Coming down the front straightaway and picked the throttle up coming off of turn 1, it just the engine seized up on us. So evidently it's burned a bearing. It's pretty unusual. We haven't done that one in a long time.
All right, so Rusty Wallace, the defending champion of the race, is all done early today.
Still very much in control of the event. There's Martin coming by as he rolls around this track, dominating from the start. Took that quick jump, brought Rusty Wallace with him into second spot. There's Earnhardt's car as they continue to work on it, but he's already, what, 2-3 laps down. Talking with Larry McReynolds about what happened out here. He very much wanted to put on a good exhibition for this Earnhardt team in this event. It's not going to happen. So, as things now stand, you have Roberts of Australia back to second, Jack Sprague to third, and moving up into fourth goes the number 7 of Jeff Bodine. And to the present time, we should point out we have no scoring whatsoever, so we'll give them to you as they come by and try to keep you up to date.
Well, Ken, as you well know, Jeff Bodine is a tremendous road racer, so he's going to give Mark Martin his upcoming here before long. He runs very well, has won at Sears Point, has won at Watkins Glen, so he's a tough race driver.
Let's see what... take a look at the recap, the Prestone recap. Mark Martin, the leader, had a crash in turn 1, and you can see that one had some damages mounted. Kenny Irwin was the big victim there, had 4 laps of caution. Rusty Wallace in lap 8, that's where his motor went away. Earnhardt's wreck, in case you missed it.
Okay, this is Earnhardt just in front up here. He and Toshiya get together as they start through the corner. You see them making contact. Earnhardt's forced into the corner. They're a little bit tough. He goes off course. Now watch him come across and right into the outside barrier. There he goes, right front flat, right into that. Ooh. Very, very soft. For his sake, it was very good. You can see the front of the car not damaged that badly for such an impact into the wall.
That's 59 races without a win. That's not quite accurate because he did win that 125-mile qualifier down at Daytona. But point counting races and big event, he would consider this one he really wanted to do well in. Kenji Mamoto has the Japanese standpoint in that 01 car.
Okay, I just talked to that chief crew of the Mr. Tsuchiya. Mr. Tsuchiya said on the radio, "Oh my God, my hero, Earnhardt crashed. I can't believe this." So, but right now the Mr. Tsuchiya's car is pretty nice. He has a lot of confidence. He's gonna move up pretty soon. He says so.
Back under green another time. As they come by, lap 13 is when they take the green. There's Martin in front, Jim Roberts in second, Jack Sprague in third. And the Australian, 5-time winner at Bathurst, 4-time national champion, stays right there hanging on to second. We're looking out for Mark Martin in first, and Jack Sprague doing a great job back there in that Terry Labonte number 5, third place.
You can see Richards there in the 09 from the back of Martin's car as they head into turn 8 here. Accelerating back on the front straightaway as they come down through here, picking up speed from about 100 miles an hour to 180 in just a short.
Back they come off turn 8. 14 laps complete. Let's go to Steve Burns.
And Dale Earnhardt talking to Larry McReynolds. Dale, I know you came here to win. What happened?
Wally and I got together getting in one, cut the right front tire, right valve storm out of it. I come off the corner and went to the next corner, and it wasn't turned. It went right into the wall.
A lot of damage. Can get back out there?
I don't know. A lot of rocks up in the engine stuff. We're lost 4 laps. Can't win the race. What the hell I'd do back out there?
Thanks, champ.
Well,
might get the early flight home to Kannapolis.
Well, one thing, he's a man of few words, I'll say that.
He doesn't like to lose one wherever it is.
Yeah, but that wasn't Wally Dallenbach. It was Toshia in the 01 that he got hooked up with. They look very similar. He's not used to seeing that green car there. It looks a lot like Dallenbach's car, even though Dallenbach did blue.
Mike Skinner's taken over in 5th position. Dallenbach is in 6th. Martin stays in 1st. Skinner with a good accounting for himself this year.
You see Bodine has moved up into 3rd there in the 07, or in the 7 car. And boy, I tell you what, you can see these guys, they're running so very, very hard around this racetrack. If anybody slips at all, they can block the racetrack with one car through this section of racetrack.
What, 4 wins for Mark Martin this year, 22 total? And that 3rd place in the Winston Cup standings, that went right down to that great battle with Glenn Jarrett to Atlanta, final race of the season.
Jack Ralph just had to feel very proud of the effort by all these teams this year. They did very well, even though, you know, you say 4 wins, that's a great year for anybody, but they wanted that championship, Mark. But next year, I think Mark will be the guy to watch.
Mark Martin, so focused in his racing. Up to 6. Here comes Wally Dallenbach. And just behind him in 7th is the 21. Carrying the colors of the Wood brothers. Michael Waltrip on board. He was off in the gravel yesterday in the practice period. And look at Skinner going to work on Sprague. This looks like the truck races all over again.
Well, they're used to racing with each other. I hope he knows he's down there, because I tell you, Mike Skinner don't give any quarters on a road course. You can see him in the 31 there. He's running very, very aggressive right now.
Ooh, there's Butch Gillian, Winston West champion. He's off for a moment and back on. Standings after 15 of 125 laps. Have Mark Martin in 1st, Jim Richards 2nd, Bodine 3rd, Sprague and Skinner. And the 77 just found itself, or the 67. I think Scott Gaylord just came back on pit road here. It's very fast, main straightaway down in front of the grandstand. There's the 01, Chia, who qualified in 7th place today. He stays right up in the top of the hunt. Skinner in the 31, still working on Jack Sprague in the yellow number 5. They're having a ball out there. 4th and 6. Nagano not too far away. Hey, Nagano's here today. You don't have to wait for February. In fact, the Burton board people are here for the next 3 days. Some of the top boarders in the world.
Car there, that's David Green. He's the one that on the first lap went out through the gravel pits down in turn 1, back up to speed, and seems to be running quite nice. I tell you, the car seems to be running quite well for just as beat up as it is. And the one there that without a front end at all, that's Kenny Irvin back in the action also. There you see David Green.
In that very first lap, first turn incident. 2 cautions to date.
You can see Fukuyama there in the 23 getting very, very wide, locked the brakes up and almost got on the board. There's Earnhardt. You can see a lot of damage. The car seems to be running quite well.
Earnhardt feels this is so important over here in Japan. And the fact that there must be twice as many people as a year ago as this series begins to develop. Next year there will be 2 races here in Japan, one on the big oval. We have not seen as yet. little more on that 02 car in the pits. Here's Kenji.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'm with Mr. Nakayas. Okay, this happened on September 13th. They got a flag. Then this car, Mr. Nakaya's car, was in this water. So then they switched the engine and they changed everything. But he did not have any time to test. But he did the great one yesterday, so that means that this car likes water, maybe.
Maybe, yeah,
Maybe.
It's not a duck. No, but I'll tell you, it wasn't. It was under the water. It wasn't in the. It was completely inundated. So they've got the thing out, dried out, and the folks from Penske South really bailed them out. There you see, after 20 of 125 laps, you have Martin in front. Skinner now is in that 5th spot, and just behind him, Wally Dallenbach in 6th. 25 laps complete. And you have 100 to go. Completed 35 miles, and they're running hard down here, side by side into one.
Sean Woodside there in the 07 making a pass on Fukuyama as they head down into turn 1. Woodside doing a very nice job today.
Wakita in the 29, and he's got the 67 all over him. That's Scott Gaylord trying to get back in this thing. He's had an on-again, off-again afternoon.
You can see Earnhardt there in the 3 car. He's joined in with the lead bunch there. That's Bodine that has just got back by him. You see Earnhardt making a move on him there. So he's back up to speed even without the sheet metal. He's putting on quite a show.
That's remarkable. He took a pretty good thump down there in the wall, and he's right back out passing cars. He is a remarkable racer anyway. That car was not as badly banged up as it appeared when it went off the course.
Well, that speaks highly of the foam rubber that they have on the inside of the course here. You hit a concrete wall like they have on some of the road courses around the country, that would have put you out. But you see he's back up to speed, minus a few body parts.
Nakaya rolls back into the garage area, and we're scoring Earnhardt, we understand, in 26th position. Again, we have no scoring, so we'll give it to you, Begessen Bagali, and off the scoreboard, which is always dangerous and shaky, but we'll keep you up to date as much as we can.
Earnhardt just passed Woodside, the 2nd place car. That's incredible. So much for a wind tunnel test.
That may help. They give him a little more downforce. Kenny Wallace giving us these pictures out of the EA sports car.
Oh, this is beautiful. See him on the outside, cuts across the racetrack, picks up the throttle, heads towards the S's here. Now he'll go back across the racetrack, get an angle going into turn 3, right across the rumple strip, turn 4. As he starts up the hill here, you'll hear him accelerate again. Back off a little bit, get it set up across the rumple strip. Now back out to the outside and right back to the bottom side of the racetrack. Now they're going up the hill portion here toward turn 8. That 7 he just went through. You can hear him really getting on the brakes there. Picking up the throttle just a little bit. Now,
talk about turn 8. This is incredible, that turn 8.
Okay, you can hear him now. 3rd. 4th gear. 175, 180. Now he's back on the brakes, getting ready for turn 1.
And you saw he is in 11th place. Going through some real gyrations here to give you some scoring, but we'll keep you up on that. For sure, Martin is the man of the moment as he stays up in front. And the 2nd place car remains Roberts of Australia in the 09. I'd like to see that guy come to the United States and do some racing. There's the 01 back out there, giving it its best. One of the top Japanese racers here today. That is Toshiya. Back with you live at the NASCAR Thunder Special from Suzuka, the Suzuka circuit in Japan. The 2nd go among 17 champions this year on this 1.5-mile course. Some major changes up in front. They've now completed 27 laps here. Gets us in 37 8/10 miles.
You're riding with Toshiya here. He's doing a great job. Running in 4th place now, highest of any of the Japanese drivers. You see Mike Skinner working inside, outside. Can't make the move on Toshiya, but what a great drive.
Right behind Skinner is Wally Dallenbach. Take a look at what happened to Mike Skinner just a few moments ago out here, buddy.
Well, you see Skinner there in the 31. Jack Sprague just in front of him in the 5 there. He goes to the outside. You see right there, he's in trouble. He locks the brakes up, and he gets over here right now into the gravel trap. See how that saves that race car. He drives right through and back into contention.
There's Toshia going around him. Now take a look right here, and we see Larry Gunselman, Winston
Right by
West driver.
himself, where he's at there's a lot of buildup. You can see the dust flying off the back of the tires there. He just got offline a little bit, spun it all by himself there. Gunselman in trouble there.
I tell you, he has worked hard with these Japanese fans. Every day you've seen him out signing autographs and making, as most of them have, but Gunselman really made it a serious point to giving out pictures, working with the people over here, helping them to understand NASCAR racing.
Great racing here. This is your second place car, and you see Toshia there in third, really giving him a hard time. The 01 doing a great job today.
I think that car has fallen back a little, and that Bodine has pulled up into second spot. There is that second spot. It is Bodine. Sprague coming to third, the Australian Richards in fourth, and Toshia, starting 7th, has picked up 2 spots, and he's working Richards pretty hard.
I'm gonna have to get closer to that scoring board. We don't have it up here in the booth.
Well, it's nice. It's all just, it's sort of a nice royal blue. So, with 30 laps now in the books, you have Mark Martin in front. Jeff Bodine having an excellent day, maintaining that second spot. And I'll tell you, Jack Sprague up to third. Boy, he's really accounting. Mile Track Jack is having a heck of a day.
You talk about having a heck of a day. That's Mark Martin, your race leader there, and Earnhardt just in front of him. He passed Martin just a little while ago, but now Martin's having all kind of trouble trying to get back by.
They say that Earnhardt is 4 laps down. Well, he's made one of them up, and there's bound to be a couple more cautions. He's not out of this thing.
No, he's not out of it, but you see Mark Martin finally getting on. Oh, trouble.
He may be out of it right there. All the way around, once, twice, tries 3 times. Ooh, don't get collected there. Let's see if he can fire it. He wanted a caution. The last thing he wanted was a caution on the number 3. He's got it fired, and he pulls back so they can continue to race.
He had no idea that Mark Martin was on the inside of him there going down in the corner, because there was just that's how light the back of the car is. Just light contact going in that corner. But boy, they just send him around.
It's like the old days at Concord to Hickory. So Dale Earnhardt had to try it again. He had made up 1 lap, went down into turn number 1, the hardest braking corner on the course. And you saw what happened. Away to the races. So Martin stays first. There you see the 7-second, followed by Jack Sprague. In the interval to Jim Roberts, followed by Mike Skinner. Bobby Hamilton in that number 4.
Lance
switching
Hooper.
Teams next year's.
That's Lance Hooper in the 1 just behind him, the yellow car. And that's Michael Waltrip just behind them in the 21 coming in.
Hooper in 9th, and then Waltrip in 10th.
You see him there. He's on the outside. Mark Martin hard on the brakes on the inside. Out brakes him. Earnhardt turns.
3 quick snap rolls out there by Earnhardt, and he got it underway. There was no caution, just 2 so far. And that was the view for Mark Martin when he took that hit.
You can see how fast it happened getting into turn 1 there. Mark Martin certainly did not mean for that to happen, and neither did Earnhardt. It's just contact.
So we have 33 laps now on the books. 33 complete in this 125 lap go. Back to Steve Burns.
And Dale Earnhardt on pit road another time, Ken. Larry McReynolds and the crew looking at the front end at the radiator. Looks like there's some kind of a blockage down there. But again, Dale Earnhardt just sitting here dead in the water in Suzuka, Japan.
Second place finisher in the Savannah year back. And he's falling still another lap back. Mark him as 5 down. Mark him as 6 down now. So we saw him come out, make up a lap, then trying to stay in front of Mark Martin. It all ended at turn number 1, but it isn't all over. Looks like he's still going to come out here and give it a go. He knows that a lot of these fans came to see Dale Earnhardt. He's going to let them.
Looking back at Jeff Bodine as they head through turn 2 there. Bodine has moved in the second now ahead of Jack Sprague and putting a lot of heat on him. I told you these two guys would be together before too long.
And that 09 back there in 4th. That's Jim Richards still hanging in there. It's tough in his first appearance in an international race like this against the Winston Cup stars. So down to 34 laps complete, 91 to go. We'll be back in a moment. Back with the action. And as we have 36 laps now complete. 50 miles are down. The leader continues to be Mark Martin, Bodine, Sprague, that top 3 all there. You saw that yellow number 5. There's Skinner. Now you see Richards from Australia, and 01, the green car, is Tsuchiya of Japan, who stays right up there in 6th spot, buddy.
He's doing a great job. You know, I was watching Jack Sprague, though. You talk about putting some heat on Bodine. He's just inches away as they come down towards turn 8 there. He's running very, very well. Jack Sprague, the champion this year in the Craftsman Truck Series. You can see him right now. Hey, he's got a lot of talent.
7th spot is Wally Dallenbach, and 8th is Bobby Hamilton with his new rider Morgan McClure. And then in 9th position is Lance Hooper out of the Winston West Series. He's followed in 10th by the number 21 of Michael Waltrip. And we can give you 11th. Kenny Wallace is still hanging right in there in 11th spot. Prestone race recap to the moment.
Well, we have 8 laps of caution. Let's see, 31. I have the sun right into my illustrator right here, and I can't see too. Number 37 spun there. You can see Mike Skinner in the 31 spun. And let's see, bumps and spins with leader Martin there with Earnhardt. They're getting back together again. He and Earnhardt are running very close on the racetrack.
Take a look at Mark Martin in a moment here. Staying out in front as we watch that field coming around turn 8 and down the main straightaway. Again, Mark Martin has dominated from the very outset of this event. See Kenny Irwin's back out there giving it a run. Well, the sun's gone behind the clouds, so we're all set for a while, buddy.
Yeah, we can see up here.
Whoops, I spoke too soon.
That's Kenny Irwin in 28. For the people that just turned on here, he had an accident on the first lap of the event and had a lot of sheet metal damage, but back up to speed. The 45 there, that's Ron Hornaday. And here's the 2 I was talking about that had a contact just a little while ago. We're dropping back through here. We will explain that we have a different camera crew also over here.
Yeah, we're on an international feed out of Japan. And apparently the Japanese scoring system has had a little problem. Therefore, since the start of the race, we've had no scoring. But we're keeping a running lap chart here for you and trying to keep you up to date. Those top 10 or 15 positions. Hey, it's like old. We've got up to 40 laps now. And as we take a look at the standings, that front 3 remain the same. Martin, Bodine, staying right there with Jack Sprague. And look at Earnhardt back out here giving it another try. Whoops, he's right up behind Martin. Payback time, you think?
Well, I don't think so. I think Earnhardt will go ahead and race with him. Earnhardt's here to have a lot of fun, and I'm sure he knows that he turned across. Martin had nothing to do with it. They're just going to race very hard.
Mike Skinner stays in that 4th position.
Of course, I could be wrong, too.
Not you. Jim Richards is in 5th. And then you've got the top Japanese driver, Tsuchiya, in the 01. And there's Earnhardt. They're saying 4 down. I got to think it's 5 at the present time. He was in there an extra lap, maybe 2. He's working just as hard as he was before. Just, come on, give me a little break. Let me make up just one. Just one. Side by side, how about that? He made it up. Here's some grit and determination for you, NASCAR American style.
And that's just exactly what I was talking about. Very clean right there. Mark realizes that Earnhardt's on a little cooler tires. He let him go there, and it's a clean pass.
Steve Burns can fill us in on Jack Sprague.
Yeah, Ken, the 1997 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series champion just came in. It took on 4 tires. It's been a great year for Jack. In fact, he's driving the car that Terry Labonte gave such a good run at Sears Point earlier this year.
There you see it. Jack Sprague and Earnhardt coming back in again. He reclaimed a personal victory there, getting around that number 6 car. He's back on pit road, and Steve will fill us in on that story in just a moment. Want to see it again, buddy?
Yeah, these guys are going at it. Mark Martin leading the race. You can see Earnhardt there in the 3 making an inside pass. Now he's on the outside of the corner as they go up through the switchbacks. Makes the pass on the outside the hard way. Right by Martin. No contact. Good hard race.
Completing 42 laps, 83 laps to go, 116 miles left here in the NASCAR Thunder Special Suzuka. And here comes Earnhardt peeling out of the car.
It's all over. Whatever the problem is with the radiator and all, he's calling it a day.
Up to 7th spot is Wally Dallenbach. And rolling into 8th now is the 21. Which means that Michael Waltrip is beginning to knock off some real spots. Lance Hooper has fallen to 9th. Let's see who some of the other victims were in this latest change. 4 car is still running in 6th. Bobby Hamilton.
This is amazing. Look at Kenny Irwin there in the 28, passing Ron Hornaday going down the straightaway without a front end on the car.
Steve Burns back once again with Dale Earnhardt.
Yeah, Ken, Dale's pulled it in. Looks like it's done for the afternoon, Dale. Looks like it's done for the afternoon.
Well, it's got a mess in the engine. It would run fine for a time, and not, whether we got something in it when we spun or messed something up in the ignition or driven or something. It run fine for a while, then it started messing and sputtering, and it quit. That's when Mark caught up to me, and then it started running again, then it quit again. Hell, I don't know.
Thanks.
Well, you can give him an A for effort, let me tell you. Here's the 29 pulling onto pit road. That's Makita for the Suzuka NASCAR Challenge. And they say Mark Martin is getting ready to pit. He's right in the window next time by, 43-44.
And Jeff Bodine trying to get by Mike Skinner there, having all kind of trouble, finally makes the pass.
Bodine's been hanging tough since the very start of this race. Skinner has come up to 3rd. Toshia in the 01 is up to 4th. The 4 car, there you see it. Bobby Hamilton working on him as we get toward pit time out here today. Wild start to the event. Big crash in turn number 1. Kenny Irwin's nose collapsed on that one. Here's Mark Martin coming in, your leader on pit road. Leader is in. Mark Martin brings that Valvoline car down pit road. Alan Bestwick is with him.
Going to be a 4-tire stop, Ken, on Mark's Ford. They're going to change the rubber all the way around, putting in fuel. The team's coordinating pit stops down here. The Wood brothers stopping right in front of where Mark stops. They wanted to make sure they both didn't come in at the same time, so they'll be in next time by. You see things going smoothly so far. A little bit of trouble on the rear tires, and now Mark is down the way.
Good stop for Mark Martin. Here's Kenny Irwin rolling in. The car sure looking like one of the Grateful Dead after its run out here today.
Well, you can tell what sticker tires look like. You can see the sticker because there's no front end on it.
Yeah, that's a Mark Martin, rather a Kenny Irwin look-alike. And now also pitting is the 02 car, one of the Japanese teams, and number 37, Larry Gunselman. 02 Nakaya, also on pit road.
Bobby Hamilton coming down for pit work too in the 4 car.
Steve Burns is with Jeff Bodine, who's just pulled in.
Ken, Jeff Bodine came into the pit stop running in 2nd place. One of the crewmen from Dale Earnhardt's team is changing front tires. Some of the teams came to Japan a little bit short-handed. A good stop for Jeff Bodine. They're looking for a sponsor on this team, hoping to have a good run here today. Jeff Bodine is done.
Jeff Bodine is finished. That's a heartbreaker. Toshia has just spun in the 01. Again, that's the car that Travis Carter brought here a year ago. It was purchased by the Japanese. And that paint job's pretty interesting on that car.
That's not a paint job. That's all decal. The whole car is decal.
That's amazing. Take a look at what happened out here just a moment ago to the Drifter. The Drifter King, they call him.
Oh, he and Fukuyama got together going into turn 1, and that set him spinning.
Well, that was certainly not intentional. Those Japanese drivers really wanted to finish well out here, and I'm sure they didn't want to take each other out. Here you see the 01 pulling onto pit road. Toshiya, who has run so well in the early going, qualified 7th. We've seen him up into 5th. We'll take a quick break and be back with you once again at the NASCAR Thunder Special from Suzuka. Curiosity about Winston Cup cars at a new high level here in Japan. Show car just in front of the Suzuka circuit. As we get ready for more racing here, we're into the first period of fuel stops. At the present time, number 46, Wally Dallenbach, has not come in, so he is in the lead. And Winston West star Lance Hooper has come to second place in the race. Going third would be the number 96 of David Green. So Buzz McCall car is having a good day. That's your leader going by, a cartoon car. Woody Woodpecker getting quite a ride, and thus far it hasn't said that's all, folks. David Green third. Let's go back and look at that start again. If you're just joining us here, it's a Sunday afternoon in Japan. This is where the fireworks began, buddy. Mark Martin let him down, got in front, and then as turn 1 narrows up, Shazam.
That's David Green in the 96 in the gravel trap there. And behind him, you can see visibility poor. Everybody jumped on the brakes, setting off a chain reaction.
And it took out 3 or 4 others. Now Wally Dallenbach has pitted. That'll put Lance Hooper in the number 1 into first spot. And the number 96 will take over in second. David Green. Let's go to Alan Bestwick on pit road.
Ken, this green flag pit stop situation is kind of what Wally Dallenbach was afraid of. This team didn't bring its regular tire changes with it, so it's kind of working with a somewhat makeshift crew. They were hoping to get some stops under the caution so they wouldn't lose as much track time by making a longer stop than some others. You see Wally down the lane. Actually, that wasn't too bad.
Excellent stop for Dallenbach. Hooper now in first until he pits in the number 1 car. David Green has taken over in second. Running third is Kenny Wallace. Kenny Wallace with that RL Carriers outfit today, or rather the EA Sports rig today. Showing 51 of 125 laps now complete. 71 and 4/10 miles are down. And we have 103 remaining. Good run by Dallenbach. And of course, he has been a master with 2 Trans Am championships to his credit with the Jack Roush team over the years. I'm really impressed with these Winston West kids, and I think you're going to hear a lot about Winston West. They now have 6 super speedway races next year out there on the West Coast with the new California track at Fontana. They'll be running at Phoenix, Arizona, going up to Pikes Peak. They've got a great calendar of events. Mike Skinner all over the back of the number 37 in your picture.
He's giving Gunselman all he can handle there in the 37. You can see he's trying inside, outside, cannot make the move. Just behind him, Jack Sprague in the yellow car there, number 5.
Jack Sprague is running well up in the standings all afternoon. Ooh, we've got one in trouble, I think, up in turn 8. Let's see who that is. That's the 29 spinning off course. That would be Wakita.
Yeah. I could see that out of the corner of the shot we had, and it looked to me like the 4 car there of Bobby Hamilton got into the 29 Wakita there and spun him around.
96, David Green, for the moment, is your leader. And let me point out, we're on an international feed today. This is not our regular feed. This is with the Japanese. And we have no scoring today coming in.
See Bobby Hamilton on the inside. They make contact as they head in the corner. That's it, Wakita sliding there. Hamilton gets the foul on the inside.
Hamilton is staying right up in the standings, too, at the present time. He's 9th. Wakita was being lapped. He cut down across the bow of the number 4. Now that the wrong way to go. Here's Ricky Craven back out again. He's been having him on again, off again afternoon. Driving for Jeff Gordon, new Winston Cup champion, not here. He was in the hospital for an operation on his throat earlier this week. Elected to get that done and out of the way.
For those listening, it's not a serious thing. It's a small polyp on the vocal cords, and they said it would sound like you had a cold if you didn't have it fixed, and he said, let's fix it.
So Ricky Craven gets to ride the 24 car. Now here's the 7 back out again. And we would have him in 5th place after that fuel stop. One more fuel stop to bring him home here this afternoon on this just about mile-and-a-half 8-turn road course at Suzuka. Leader continues to be Jeff Green. I tell you, that's going to make Buzz McCall feel just great. McCall, of course, had a lot of sports cars and then switched to Grand National Racing. Brought that Caterpillar team along and then switched it over into Winston Cup racing. Long time veteran car owner, Buzz McCall's number 96. Having a very good day at the present time. And I'll tell you, he's getting some pretty good mileage, too.
I talked to David Green. He said he really likes this course, and you can see he's doing quite well.
Owensboro, Kentucky native. David Green having a really good run, leading course of pit stops, and you wonder how much longer he can ride as he is right now before he'll be back in again. We'll take a quick commercial break and be back with you. Whoops, one more time. Wally getting tagged.
Hey, race fans, Budweiser asks, who won? October 6, 1996, Charlotte Motor Speedway. Bobby Labonte in car 18 battled the number 24 of Jeff Gordon from the front row. Fast forward, number 6 of Mark Martin and car number 5 with Terry Labonte driving worked their way to the front of the field. Another contender was the black 28 with Ernie Irvin behind the wheel. But who won? Here's the list of contenders, the answer when we return. For the first time in his career, Terry Labonte won at Charlotte. Engine failure sidelined pole sitter Bobby Labonte after 179 laps. Points leader Jeff Gordon also suffered problems, dropping him to 31st in the final rundown. Ernie Irvin ran up front, but he was sidelined in a crash after 208 laps. With the competition crushed, Terry Labonte cruised to victory for the 18th time in his career. Who Won was brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers. This Bud's for you.
With Buddy Baker, I'm Ken Squire. 57 laps have been completed, 68 remain. The question about David Green, he stopped about lap number 10 at the end of that run after that first caution. And now we're under the 3rd caution of the day after, I believe, Fukuyama has brought that out with a shunt up here in turn 8. Now, a couple of things. Mark Martin has come to 2nd and Bodine back up to 3rd, and Craven did a short pit stop back on lap 25, and that may really count for him. It's put him up into 4th spot. Let's show you right now what happened while you were away. There's Fukuyama in 8, around a couple of times.
That's that spooky number 8 turn there. He got loose coming through there and backed it into the inside wall.
That brought out the caution for the 3rd time. Skinner is in 5th. Sprague is in 6th. Hamilton 7th. Waltrip is in 9th. Then you have LaJoy in 9th. And Wally Dallenbach back to 10th. Had been leading. Take a look at that turn 8 that we had been talking about earlier.
Well, to get to turn 8, you have to go straight uphill, and as you start into turn 8, it starts downhill toward the front straightaway. You see the white marking there on turn 8. Coming down that hill, you're going through the gearbox, and the car gets sideways towards the initial run down the front straightaway.
Yeah, you go in there in what, 2nd, maybe 3rd, then you drop to 2nd, then you got to get it back to 4th.
There's Gunselman back off the course again.
A little more agricultural racing for Mr. Gunselman today. He's been there a couple of times, doing a bit of plowing, mowing. So under this caution, we should see those competitors who have been out here and haven't taken on fuel on pit road, and that would include Green. Again, lap 10, he sped onto pit road, then slowed right down to 35 miles an hour, which is the speed on pit road today.
see Mike Skinner there just kind of riding along, sawing back and forth on the wheel, and very comfortable.
So we have our third caution. Here's Craven dropping onto pit road. And remember that Craven stopped in the 20-lap area, is up to 4th place. We'll take a quick break and be right back for the restart. Back live with 61 laps complete. 64 to go, 89.6 to finish her off. And as we check out a new starting lineup after some stops along pit road. Let's see, that changes the window some to get us down to the finish. Let's go down to Steve on pit road for a moment.
Ken David Green came into this pit stop as the leader, but the 24 car got out in front of him as well as a couple of others. They may not have gotten enough gasoline in the car. There's some confusion here amongst the team, and they don't want to bring him back down pit road, but again, they're concerned they didn't get enough gasoline in the 96. Let's go to Alan Bestwick.
Ken, I just saw the most unique pit stop that I've ever seen in all of NASCAR Winston Cup racing. Jack Sprague and Ricky Craven's teams, the 2 Hendrick Motorsports cars, are pitted side by side, sharing one pit crew. They pitted Craven's car behind me, ran around the front, pitted Jack Sprague's car, took them 48 seconds, but they got 8 tires and 44 gallons of gasoline. It was incredible.
Yeah, twin pit stop. Now that is unique. All right, we're getting set once again. I think we're getting some pictures here. Isn't that Kenny Watt? They're taking a look at the top 5. Mark Martin, Bodine, Skinner, Bobby Hamilton, and Michael Waltrip now being shown in the 5th position. A little more news for you on that number 01. Here's Kenji Momoto.
Yeah, Tsuchiya just got 4 tires and a full fuel. But actually, he got the problem with the engine. When he ran the straightaway, he hit the kind of the rev limit the end of the straight. So that he said still handling is great, but he need more straight speed.
Okay, do you want to do the interpretation of that, Baker? Huh? And the RL carriers rig there.
The rev limiter is an automatic shutoff to keep you from over-revving the motor. So he thought it was something wrong with the motor, most likely, because it does start to skip and it won't let it gain RPM.
Thank you. There you go. All right, we were showing, what, 61 laps complete, 62 this time about. And we're very close to getting a restart on this field after the 4th caution of the afternoon. Ready to bring them on down.
Pace car pulls in. They're coming down for the green flag.
Jeff Bodine right up there in the head of the crowd with Mark Martin. A little over halfway. Martin pulls away. Bodine right with him. Skinner on the attack. And here comes that charge into turn number 1, and they're 4 wide again, buddy.
4 wide. They're 2 through the corner. Somebody's going to have to do something and quick.
It looked like Bobby Hamilton on the move that time. Boy, they're getting torn up here. This looks like Martinsville, the way the equipment runs. They're really beating and banging out here today.
Yeah, racing's a contact sport on road cars, especially one as narrow as this. You can see it going up through the S's here. Race cars are just inches apart. Somebody checks up a little too much, you get into them.
This from Kenny Wallace's camera.
Okay, this is turn 8 that we were talking about. You see the cars getting a little sideways there as they head for the front straightaway.
Those pictures. Boy, Skinner's on a roll. He's flying up in the field. Try to keep you up to date on where we are, and apparently the Japanese are having some trouble with the scoring and the rain. Foot action here from Mark Martin.
You can see his right foot on the accelerator, his left foot. He's got it over there right now on the brake pedal. Off the brake, on the accelerator, back on the brake with his left foot. Now you can see him start easing back in the throttle, and now back underway, back on the brake again. And a soft pedal in the middle there. Now he's back into it wide open. You can notice he's not using the clutch very much at all there, just kind of backing out the throttle and jerking it in gear.
And look at Mike Skinner riding in third spot, right up behind Jeff Bodine. So gentle on those controls. Mark Martin out in front, some great pictures there. And look at Skinner all over Bodine as they come through turn 2. Bobby Hamilton's up into fourth. Michael Walker's in fifth.
Wally Dallenbach hard in the outside. Lance Hooper there in the one car gets into the outside wall. That was a hard lick by Dallenbach.
That is a big caution. Wally Dallenbach, look at the front of Lance Hooper's R&L car. That one's gone. Well, it's rolling. He'll be able to keep it going, but there's a big question on Wally Dallenbach.
He just better be thankful that was all that foam rubber there, that not metal that he got into there. That takes a lot of the inertia away when you hit.
Yellow is out again, and Woody Woodpecker on that cartoon
he's got a lot of
network
damage
car
there.
may have said that's all, folks, on that one.
You can see the hood rolled up on it pretty good there.
With 67 laps complete, he was just outside the top 9 with that number 46 Chevrolet, and he climbs out. I'm pretty sure that's going to be it.
Not a happy camper. You can tell the way he's walking. He would like to say hello to somebody.
Had a good run going, had led for a while, thought he had a good day, and I think he's looking for someone.
Yeah, he's oh, wow.
I wonder how good he is at throwing helmets. I've already had an There's the word. Here's the replay. There's Ricky Craven in the 24 right behind him.
He and Hooper get together right there, forcing him to the outside. Watch the car never turn straight into that barrier.
I don't care how much rubber mounting or tires or whatever you put there, that one would still take a toll.
The guy that was lucky there was Ricky Craven in the 24 car. He just skirted right by that incident without making any contact.
Just plain lucky on that one, but not lucky was 34-year-old Wally Dallenbach. All right, we're seeing some more of the leaders come in. Here's Martin, followed by Bodine, Skinner, all taking advantage here of an opportunity to get on pit road. Butch Gilligan's coming in, Bobby Hamilton, and Waltrip, all those leaders, those top 5. What lap do we have? Let's check our laps. We're at lap 68 as these leaders pull on to pit road. 68 of 125 have been completed. Work being done to Mark Martin, who has been the dominator in this event. Bobby Hamilton going all the way around, 4-tire change.
Look at the headbands.
Steve Burns is there on Jeff Bodine's car, which is having a great run.
Yeah, they are, Ken. Jeff Bodine, they're having a little problem. Looks like they made a chassis adjustment to the right rear of the car. A little problem getting off the jacks, but he's down just behind Michael Waltrip.
So Jeff Bodine of that Ford gets ready for some more running. The John Porter, Jim Matei car. First time here for Jeff Bodine. We'll take a quick commercial break and be back with you on the restart at Suzuka. The Thunder continues to roll. Back with you with Kenny Wallace in that EA sports car that had started 23rd today. He's run up into the top 8. Had a very good run, Kenny Wallace. Saw him a moment ago out here. Back another time. Kenny Wallace took his first trip around the Suzuka road course on a video game. And here's Kenny Wallace's call of that final lap.
One more lap to go.
I didn't get to come to Japan last year, so what am I going to do for practice? I'm on my Suzuka Circuit Land EA Sports game. Here I am coming down the front straightaway. Oh boy, I think there's a corner coming up. Practice, all right, make this right-hand corner. I think I see Rusty up front there. I got to turn a little bit more. This is real. I'm in the grass. Save it, Kenny. Down this straightaway, a quick left, up through a series of S's, and I know I got to make up time here. Through the grass again on accident. I can't do that in my real race car. And I know I'm coming close up to the top of the hill here.
still chasing Big Brother. I see him up front with Terry Labonte. Oh, that hurt. There's the Ferris wheel. I'd rather be on that right now. And here I come to the start-finish line. I'd have rather taken the rest of the road course, but that was fun, and that's what I did to learn.
Some learning experience for Kenny Wallace. He won't have to look for his brother anymore. Lap 10, motor went away for Rusty Wallace in the number 2, and he was out of the event. And let's take a look at the others that are out of the event at this point. Here you see some of those that no longer are with us here at Suzuka in this competition. Sedgwick is gone.
Rusty Wallace was a real surprise. Right at the very first of the race, lost the motor going up the switchbacks up the back of the straightaway.
Earnhardt is out, and we know that Wally Dallenbach's car took some real abuse a moment ago. Let's find out more about it. Down to the pits.
All right, Ken, I'm with Wally now. First of all, Wally, glad to see that you're okay. What happened out there?
Well, we got the car working really good after that second pit stop, and I just pulled up beside somebody that I wouldn't think about making a move like that on the guys I run with every week, but he had no clue I was there, and it was probably my own fault that I trusted him on that kind of a move.
All right, so a tough break for Wally Dallenbach. His car beat up pretty well in the front end, and he is out of the race here this afternoon. Ken?
So lap 68 now complete. Ooh, that was the crash by Wally Dallenbach that ended his day. And that's just exactly what you were talking about at the outset, buddy, was when you've got all these people together that haven't run with each other all the time, these kind of things can happen.
Well, Ken, you know, he's not used to running with Lance Hooper, and Lance was doing what he normally does up through there and didn't know he was there. It was just contact. There's nothing you can blame either guy for.
It was something like what happened down here in the main straightaway with Mark Martin and Earnhardt.
Exactly the same thing.
Yep. And that's somebody you run with all the time. All right, we've got a race reset for you as we get ready to progress into the last half of this race. There are the standings at the present time. And Ricky Craven in number 24 has taken that lead after that pit stop he made at lap 25, out of sync with the rest of the field.
How about Jim Richards, though? He's still hanging in there, second spot right now. What a great drive.
Started second. 50 years old from Melbourne, Australia. Guy that we hope comes over and runs a little Winston West. I didn't mention Pikes Peak is on that list of super speedways for the Winston West. They've got 6 super speedway races, and they've raised their point fund. It's going to be $500,000 out there. Winston alone added another $300,000 this year.
Great call by NASCAR. These guys drive very hard. Good to see them make a lot of money.
Lap 69 coming up, and we're away with it. Ricky Craven leads him down. Jim Richards in the 09 running in second spot. Jack Sprague in third, Green in fourth, LaJoie in fifth, and Rick Pirelli is in sixth.
Whoa, we have one off course here.
Big time. Foggy day in Suzuka Town.
We'll tell you who it is when we can see them.
Let's see if it's going to bring out another caution. It looks like Bobby Hamilton. It is.
Yep. It is Bobby Hamilton, and you can see the back wheels on the car are bogged down pretty badly.
So we've got ourselves, we don't have a yellow out as yet. Now it comes out. Caution is out for caution 6.
You can see the rear wheel spinning on Hamilton trying to get out of the gravel trap. Can't make it.
Another caution here today. This one for Bobby Hamilton, who moves to this team from the Richard Petty team, and there's big news about who's going on to that Petty team for next year. We'll have that for you in our Auto Week Roundup in just a moment. Well, in the standings, you've got Craven in first, Richards in second, Sprague coming up to third, David Green is in fourth, LaJoie is in fifth, and you have Rick Pirelli now running in that 6th position. Let's go down with Kenji Momoto, updating another car out of the race.
Okay, I'm with the Wakita here. So the car number 29 Chevy Monte Carlo. Actually, he raced 3 times this year with the Winston West Series. One is at the Portland, 2 are at the Bakersfield, California. So he has a bunch of experience this year. But what happened? So 今日はこれまで昨日ウェストンウェスト出てきましたけど、何か収穫ありました？今日エンジントラブルですよね。
そうですね、エンジントラブルでイエローコーションの後のリスタートで壊れたと思うんですよ。
いきなりスタートしたら遅れたじゃないですか。で、1周2周様子見たんですけど、どんどん離れていくし、でもうしょうがなくピットインの。
Okay, so what he said is that actually he got engine problem, kind of the broken engine, everything. So just after restart, he felt something wrong. So do you have any idea to go back to the United States or another Winston West Series or something next year? 来年なんかまた挑戦しますか？
今検討中なんで、できれば来年も引き続き参戦をしたいとは思ってますけども。はい。
So he still have a plan to go back to the United States. So he loves NASCAR. He wants to run more. So back to Ken Squire.
That Winston West Series, a perfect spot for these folks in the Pacific Rim. I hope we see him on some of those super speedways. It would really give that thing a shot. And that is a great series with some great competitors. Rick Corelli, former champion out there. Butch Gillian this year, tremendous guy. Steve Burns.
It Ken, looks like troubles for Jeff Bodine running so well today. They're stringing the tires. That means that the car is usually, for lack of a better term, out of line. Now they're going to pull the hood pins and raise the hood, so bigger problems for Jeff Bodine.
Hey, news, bulletin. Scoring's come up. How do you like that one, buddy? we can give you the top 6. We can give you, my gosh, times and speeds and second intervals here. With Ricky Craven in first, we've got Jim Richards in second, Jack Sprague in third, David Green in fourth, LaJoy and Corelli round out the top 6 at the present time here. Gosh, what's all that going on? There he is out of the pit and ready to go again. All right, let's take a break for Auto Week. This Auto Week report in racing. A lot of changes in Winston Cup in the past 7 days, and Steve Burns is here to report on it.
Ken, it's been busy stateside this week. 2 of the greatest names in racing history, Andretti and Petty, will join forces in 1998. John Andretti confirming that he will in fact be in the STP Pontiac next year. We have also learned that Rich Bickle, who finished second in the point standing this year in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series as Darrell Waltrip's driver, has signed a letter of intent to go to the new Dr. J team, the Washington Irvin team. A letter of intent for that team. And also we have learned that the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company will not return to Formula One racing after 1998.
A lot more emphasis on what's happening in Winston Cup. I'm hopefully in Winston West. Hey, call 1-800-232-1522 now for a 52-week subscription to Auto Week. $24.95 the price. In addition to a year's subscription, you'll get the bonus issues. Don't delay. Offer is limited. Call now. Auto Week. 1-800-232-1522. Back after this break. Back with you live after 74 laps have been complete. Now into 75. That gets us down to 70 miles to go. Whoa, Bodine!
Tashia got into Bodine. You can see Bodine trying to get it back. He's in that gravel pit. They keep her moving and get back in there.
Made it. But that is costly for Jeff Bodine, who had been right up in the top of the heap. Ricky Craven and Jack Sprague and those Rick Hendrick cars are running 1-2. David Green is third. LaJoy is fourth. Corelli is fifth. Mike Skinner is in sixth spot.
You can see the left side of Tashia's car. A lot of damage to it from the tires of Bodine that got into him there.
Mark Martin in seventh. Michael Waltrip in eighth. Then in ninth is Richard. 10th is Kenny Wallace. 11th is Hornaday. And 12th is Gaylord. R&L car.
You could hear the rev limiter come in at just in high gear there. It cut off just at the end of the straightaway there, keeping this car from over-revving as they start to gear down. Got a little loose there. You heard him pick the throttle up, lay it right back down, got it back straight.
Jeff Bodine has fallen to 18th position. Bobby Hamilton back in 19th position after his off-course skirmish. Alan Bestwick with more on the leader.
Ken, the caution flags in this race and the pit strategy could not have fallen any more perfectly for Ricky Craven. After starting fairly well deep in this field, back in the 26th position, they stopped under the yellow at lap number 26 and took on fuel. Then came back in again at lap number 60 and took on fuel. Make that 61. Just 6 laps later, another caution wave that brought the leaders in, putting Craven up front with track position on the same pit schedule with the leaders, with relatively the same tires on the car. He's in great shape now to contend with Mark Martin and the rest for the win.
The car you saw turn sideways and then go all the way around was Kenny Irwin, the 28 car. He's had a lot of trouble this day. You can see him get collected there in the back. Looks like Lance Hooper's going to make it a perfect hat trick here today. That's the second time he's put somebody around in that area of the racetrack.
And wasn't he involved with the number 1 earlier today?
And the 46.
And so you see Kenny Irwin, he does have the hat trick. Well, there you see Ricky Craven's number 24 bearing down on this one as the leader with Jack Sprague in second. 77 laps now complete. Here's David Green's number 96. He's been having an excellent run. This is one of his best runs of the year. He's up in 4th spot as he works on Mike Skinner in the 31. They've been going back and forth for a while. Good battle here. Randy LaJoy in the 74 beginning to make his forces felt in this race.
Yeah, he's moved all the way up to 3rd now. And, you know, Randy said he loves this racetrack. He likes the competition here. He likes the racetrack. He finds it very good for his type of driving.
He had been lurking in that lead lap. And LaJoy gets a spot at running up here. There you see that number 74 right there. Steve, have more on that?
Yeah, Ken, I just talked to Steve Bird, the crew chief of their championship Busch team. Steve said they can go the rest of the way on gas, and a remarkable achievement for LaJoy. He was black flagged earlier for passing before the green flag came out, so they're having a heck of a run.
Bill Baumgartner's team, the base racing team, really looking good. Look at Green moving in. The 96 car a moment ago. 07 flashing by. From the Winston West Series, Sean Woodside, number 2 in the standings this year. 7-year veteran, really come alive. We've got our leaderboard all together now. Woo!
Gunselman gets off there just a little bit, and the 37 car gets it back under control as he goes through the S's.
Remember, Gunselman was all the way around. There's Rick Corelli's number 61.
That's Rick Corelli there in the 61. I can see a little bit of smoke coming out of the back of the car. I don't know what the problem, but he is smoking a little bit.
Former Winston West champion, Corelli. Ooh, we got parts and pieces everywhere out here.
That's brake duct hose there. That's what goes from the front of the car and hooks back into the brake system on the front of these cars to keep them cool.
Gaylord running in 13th spot, and here's Corelli in.
Looks like he's going behind the wall. He has real problems with the 61 car.
Well, he was up in the top 10 some of the day.
You can see the oil strewing behind the car there. You can see that little line going in there. That means there's a hole in something that holds the oil in the car.
He's running in 11th position when he comes out of the event. He's running lap 80. With 80 laps down, with 45 to go, 63 miles to the finish. And the front of the field remains Ricky Craven and Jack Sprague in the Hendricks cars, Mike Skinner right there, followed by Mark Martin in 4th, Randy LaJoy falling to 5th.
Bobby Hamilton in the 4 car. Not long ago, he's in the sand trap, back up to speed now, running very, very well. And drop behind him is Sean Woodside.
But that number 4 car has a lot to work on to get himself back up into this race.
There's Randy LaJoy with his paint job a little different than most people are used to seeing when he won the championship in the Grand National division. Of course, it's a blue car, but he's got different sponsors
Staff
for this
America
race.
colors, so that's the owner's colors.
Lance Hooper has real trouble on the right front corner of his car right now. You can see going down into turn 1. He's barely moving as he goes into turn 1.
Rick Corelli going to call it a day, and Alan Bestwick's with him.
Kenny has just climbed from the machine there, pushing it away. Rick, what happened?
I think the oil pump belt fell off and spent a rod out the side or something, but the Remax Chevrolet was running pretty decent. I mean, we're just out here to have a little fun, and we had some fun. Unfortunately, it came short.
All right, Rick, tough luck today. Ken, when he said he threw the belts off, take a look at this right over here. We'll swing this right up in front of him. That's what's left of it. Doesn't work too good when it's not in one piece.
Wow, yeah, he did chew that one up. Rick Corelli, the High Plains drifter. He drifted out of Japan. He's had a good day, he says. Just wish he'd been around to see it to the end. At Bobby Hamilton, number 4 that we were showing you a moment ago, 18th position on Hamilton, and a couple of laps down. You see the running order up on the top of your screen. I'd like to say hello to John Leonard, who's been a member of our team for years now, out there in California. Hope you're feeling well today and enjoying this race from Suzuka, Japan. We'll take a quick commercial break, bring you more of the action. Whoa, smoke him a little in turn 1. It's the way to do it, Jeff Davis. Hang right in there. Craven and Sprague, 1 and 2. Back with you live at Suzuka, 86 laps, 120 miles complete, 39 laps to go. And the story now is that among the front runners, Craven, Sprague, Skinner, 1, 2, 3, they're concerned about fuel and getting to the finish. Martin's in the same position. So we think is Michael Waltrip, but we're checking. The one guy in the top 6 at the present time, it looks like he could go all the way, is Randy LaJoie with that Steve Bird prepared number 74. There you see Craven staying out in front. Show you the top 5 right now as we see Craven coming down the main straightaway with the advantage over his teammate Jack Sprague, replacing Terry Labonte, who's getting that wrist fixed this week.
I want to give a call to the 24 car. That is Ricky Craven's regular road course car, the 25 car that's painted like the Jeff Gordon car. So Andy Gray's doing a great job of setting that car up today.
There's your 3rd place car. That's Mike Skinner and Mark Martin right there with him in 4th place. Michael Waltrip fights his way up into 5th. LaJoie, defending and 2-time Busch Grand National Champion, squared off in the 6th position at the present time. Talking about some of the drivers further back in the field, Wally Dallenbach being shown as 23rd. Remember, he had that hard crash. A lot of these guys are in and out with beaten up, battered cars. Earnhardt will be credited with 27th. He's had to call it a day. Took a hard smack early in the going. A lot of retirees in this one.
I was just listening to Mark Martin. 740 horsepower screaming down that front straightaway. That's music to me. Wow, did that thing sound good.
Music to the Japanese, too. It was fun to be down here because they opened all of that garage area after qualifying, and there were folks over there, and when they would turn on an engine, get ready for that final practice period, you would see these great smiles. I see that many places in racing, but when these big thundering Winston Cup cars come to town, it brings joy to a lot of people's faces. Now there's Craven staying in front, and right behind him is Sprague, who won that Craftsman Truck Series champion this year. And boy, they're really wired up about next season in the Craftsman Truck Series. Big schedule for them. 17 champions, 4 NASCAR Touring Series against the best from this side of the Pacific Rim. The best of Australia. We're speaking there of Jim Richards, who's had a really solid day out here. He's down about 100 horsepower, but he's given it a great run. He's been in and out of the top 5 most of the afternoon, and the Japanese drivers far better accounting this season than a year ago. Whoops, here we go again. Number 37, Larry Gunselman. Dirt track Gunselman is, come on. I mentioned earlier, I was really impressed with the amount of time he spent with spectators here in Japan. He went out of his way every day he was here to make himself available to talk up Winston West racing, NASCAR racing in general. Take a look at this little expedition.
You see him on the outside there. He gets out in that loose stuff into the gravel now. Fights to stay out of the outside wall. Gets it back on course. No harm, no foul. Back in business.
We've completed 90 of 125 laps at this point. Craven staying in front, hungry for a victory. Not a good year. Started off so well in Daytona with that third place finish, and it went all downhill the rest of the year.
Ken, you can see there only 93 starts in Winston Cup, though. He has a bright career in racing, and Ricky Craven, I think Rick Hendrick saw a lot in him. I have for years, and I think he's going to be a star.
Jack Sprague with that 5 car, trying to work away from a lap car, and for good reason. He's been up on top of a couple of them today. The 01 Tashia.
Well, he's in 11th place, and take my word for it, he's earned every position he has. He's been sideways. He's been very, very active all day and run very well.
But look how tight these front 4 are as we get to the final moments. There's Sprague in second. There you see Skinner in third. And there's Mark Martin in fourth.
Oh, Jack Sprague gets hit just a little bit by Tashia getting down in the corner there. Lucky to hang on to that race car.
And almost an advantage to Skinner. He took a quick shot on the outside, did not get through.
And just behind him, Mark Martin sitting there going, come on, guys, let's go. It's getting near the end.
Tashia in that RL Carriers car. Staying right with the program among these leaders.
You see Mark Martin very, very patient. Tashia gets to the outside there. Mike Skinner just in front of him.
Just behind us, David Green in 7th. Richards is now 8th, the Australian. 9th is Kenny Wallace. Hornaday is in 10th, and Tashia is in 11th, and that number 01. Check in with Alan Bestwick.
Ken, this fuel mileage thing coming down to decide this race is really fairly interesting. You got all of the front runners saying it's very close going the distance on fuel. What's remarkable about that is that Ricky Craven and Jack Sprague stopped 6 laps before Mark Martin and Michael Waltrip did. So if it's close for Waltrip and Martin, it's really, really close for Sprague and Craven. Should be interesting to see.
Indeed. Want to watch LaJoy from here on, and he can become a real factor if they have to pop in for a little fuel.
You can see a car getting in the gravel trap there. That was Gunselman again. I would have to say he probably has a brake problem because he drives too well to be in the sand or in the gravel traps that many times.
Good point. Good point, buddy. I would think there had to be something. Gunselman keeps finding himself off course here, but he hasn't stuffed it as yet. Not bad. Here's your leader, Craven. Front 4 all gathered up for a dramatic finish here. The NASCAR Thunder. Back with you live. We're showing 95 of 125 laps now complete. Craven and Sprague stay first and second. Andy Graves, the crew chief of Ricky Craven. Alan Bestwick is checking with him right now on the fuel situation. We'll update you as soon as he has his report ready. Mike Skinner is third, Mark Martin fourth, Michael Waltrip coming to fifth. LaJoy hangs that steady 6th. Whoa! Hang a plow on that car. There's the 02 out in the dirt. Nicoya coming back on for off-track excursion.
That's an old Rusty Wallace car, and it was also in the flood here at the racetrack. That car was underwater for several days here.
Underwater back in September. They had like 6 feet of water after that big typhoon that hit this part of the country in Japan. Steve Burns can tell us about Mike Skinner's situation as we get down toward the finish.
And Ken, we've been talking to various crew chiefs in contention as to whether or not they can make it. Went up to Mike Skinner's team. They said it's real close, but we think we can go the distance.
Well, it'll be fun to find out from Alan Bestwick how those Hendrick cars feel. Andy Graves with Ricky Craven. They've got it their way for the moment. Mark Martin, the pole sitter, lying there in fourth. Here from Tashia's car, the RL Carrier car. Ooh, he's still right in the midst of things. He's running in 11th spot. I mean in the midst of things.
Yeah, Mike Skinner's been all over him. You can see just inches apart as they go through the slow part of the racetrack there. Down turn 8, heading for the front straightaway.
I think that Mike Skinner is calling him, what do they call him over here, the Slide King? I'll bet you by now that Michael's come up with a couple of new names.
Well, he's got a lot of heat just behind him. You see Jack Sprague there on the outside. Tashia makes a move on Sprague on the inside, runs up on the curve.
He was running this dirt track style the other day. He will not make friends with Skinner if he gets him spun around. Well, I mean with Sprague. With Jack Sprague in that Lowe's number 5. Alan Bestwick is now with Andy Graves. Let's get the story on that lead car as we continue to watch this battle.
All right, Ken, Ricky Craven's crew chief. Andy, you were in at lap 60. Can you go the distance on fuel?
Well, it's going to be awful close, but we're just hopefully to keep the DuPont Budweiser Chevrolet out front, and fuel's going to be awful close. We're going to throw the dice a little bit.
Now, some of these other guys that stopped 6 laps after you were saying they're close on fuel. You're going to be able to get another 6 laps out of a tank. Is Ricky out there trying to save it?
Yeah, but most of those 6 laps were caution flight laps, so that weighs into it. So we'll just have to see.
There you go, Ken. The good point. Most of those 6 laps difference between when Craven and Martin stopped will run under the caution flag.
Tsuchiya back at it again, working on Sprague. Ooh, Sprague really threw it in there.
You can see it
coming back after it.
You can see a little damage on Jack Sprague's nose part of his car. He's been in the back of somebody himself today.
To me, like those tires are getting a little thin out there, buddy.
Well, the racetrack's getting a little slick. You can hear they're really working the throttle inside these cars very, very gingerly. They're not jumping back in the throttle and turning them sideways because the tires are going away a little.
Speaking of how you can hear things, let's listen to how the Japanese are handling this situation right here.
さあホームストレートに戻ってまいりました。すでにトップのクレイバンは100周目の周回に入りました。そして土屋圭一、この前を行くマシンに気を取られている間にこれはスキナーに抜かれてしまった。ここは3番手、現在3位走行中のスキナー、そしてその後ろのマーティンにも道を開けました。土屋圭一、ここは譲りました。
So, buddy, what can you give us the interpretation there?
Ken, it sounds just like you.
Oh, thanks a lot. Well, I know that he said Ricky Craven was up in front. I wonder what he was saying about Mike Skinner and that great run he just made into that first turn.
That was pretty interesting. They had a lot of energy in the booth there. You can tell that.
Yeah, they're wound up about it. They love this stuff over here. All week long, it sounded like Bill Cannell at a short track. Let's see what we've got happening. Now you've got, again, Jack Sprague, Skinner at it, and they're at it big time.
Yeah, but he's got super time heat going down into turn 1. Mike Skinner on the inside. That's the preferred line, and Mark Martin comes with him.
And it's Martin up a spot. Sprague, the victim there, falls 2 spots. Look at Michael Waltrip closing in the 21 with 25 laps to go. Getting down on this one. We have completed 135 miles remain to be run here in this NASCAR Thunder Special from Suzuka. It's great to see that Wood Brothers car run this well. Michael got off in the gravel yesterday, got right back out there. That was on those rain tires. He's been having a great time over here. And he's another one that shares a lot with the fans.
Absolutely. And I tell you something else. It looks to be second, third right now. It looks like they're moving in on the leader down the front straightaway there. You can see they're really drafting down through there, 180 miles an hour. Ricky Craven in the 24 running a very smooth line, but they're closing in.
And Michael Waltrip making a move around Tsuchiya in the 01. Right there as they came down the main straightaway. Let's see if pick up here as to whether or not he was successful in that hard braking area of the course. Turn 1. Fastest turn here.
Ooh, you can see Fukuyama there in the 23 getting very far sideways as the 21 of Michael Waltrip tries to work by the Wood Brothers car.
Yes, he is. By Tsuchiya. After Fukuyama in that white car coming at you. Not that one. That's Mark Martin right here. There's Jack Sprague still holding on for dear life. And Randy LaJoy in that 74 car. They say he is all decked out to finish this thing, has the fuel to do it.
Look at this, Ken. They pulled it down to about a 5-car length lead now for Ricky Craven. You can see Mike Skinner really moving in with the aid of Mark Martin right on his back bumper.
And you can draft down this main straightaway. It is a 180-mile-an-hour shoot for these top drivers. And they're taking advantage of it, using each other to close in on Ricky Craven in the 24.
see Michael Waltrip moving in on the back bumper there of Jack Sprague in the 5 car also. He's moved within 4 or 5 inches of him.
Battle for 4th position there. Sprague has it. Michael Waltrip trying to take it away. And he's done just that. Jack Sprague falls back, and he falls back behind LaJoie. So LaJoie moves up to 5th, Waltrip to 4th, and Jack Sprague is set down 2 spots. Now Holder, she's headed for the barn.
Yeah, you can see the dust flying. He's offline there. That was Fukuyama in the 23.
Oh, look at this.
A lead change.
Skinner coming in there underneath. Hard braking into turn 1. Mike Skinner, the former truck champion, the Craftsman truck champion of NASCAR from that great series, now sports those Lowe's colors out in front. I tell you, 4 NASCAR Touring Series, the best of the Japanese series, the best of Australia, all here today in Suzuka. And what a show they are performing for just about twice the crowd we had here a year ago.
Getting to be a traffic jam back in the pack here. You can see Jack Sprague in the 5, the 4, Bobby Hamilton, David Green there in the 96. All of them fighting for position.
Go back and take a look at that pass for a moment. Skinner down to the inside, buddy.
Skinner got a great run off turn 8 there, down the front straightaway, used the draft, pulled by Craven. You can see Mark Martin thinking better of the move on the inside. He's running 3rd there, just behind the 24, Ricky Craven.
So Mike Skinner has himself 1st spot for the moment here. Bobby Hamilton well back in the number 4, placing Sterling Marlin in that ride next year for Morgan McClure. On again, off again afternoon for Bobby Hamilton, but he's hanging tough here as we get down to the end of this one. Let's go to Steve Burns.
Well, Kevin Hamlin is the crew chief for Mike Skinner. Kevin's sitting here on a folding chair, starting every lap. Kevin, the big question is, can you go the rest of the way on gas?
Well, right now we've got it calculated real close, and I believe with the cautions that we had in there, we can make it. I believe there's only about 4 or 5 cars that probably can make it. Hopefully we stay in front of all those cars. Old Chevrolet's been running excellent all day. It's been pretty fast. It's as fast as Mark has been all day, so we'll just have to see what the end will bring us.
Looks like Michael Waltrip is closing in here as Skinner is leading. Michael Waltrip closing ever closer to Ricky Craven. That's a battle for 3rd. It's now Skinner 1st, Mark Martin 2nd, Craven in 3rd, Michael Waltrip 4th, Randy LaJoie up to 5th, and you have Sprague in 6th. Bobby Hamilton, that you saw on that Kodak number 4, he's in 15th position at the present time. About 23 miles to go. You're looking at the fight for 1st place. Skinner, former Craftsman Truck Series champion, in front. Mark Martin is closed all the way in. Started out as the pole sitter. Mike Beth looking on. Happy with the Skinner's performance for sure today. He's looking good.
I'm sure she's seeing what we're seeing, though. He's getting a little bit loose on the right-hand turns. When he gets back in the gas, the car gets a little sideways. Mark Martin says his car is working really good. Skinner's, we heard him just a second ago. We can see right there, he crossed up just a little bit, coming towards the front straightaway there.
And down this main straightaway, fastest point of the track, just about 180 before you really get in those brakes. And we saw that great performance of the footwork of Mark Martin, how gingerly he gets in there. 16 to go. 16 laps remaining. Mark Martin throws it all into 1, tries to get under him in turn 2, doesn't make it. This is for the lead. Michael Waltrip back there in 3rd, and watch the footwork here. One of the very best in road course racing for Winston drivers.
You can see him rest his left foot just a little bit. In between times he has to use the brake, he just kind of lays it over there. You can also see that pad on his left shoe there. That kitten takes all the heat out of the heel being on the floorboard, right where the headers go under there.
No more burning your heel right down to the bone like they did in your days, buddy. That really has made a difference. Skinner stays 1st, Martin stays 2nd. Then there's, let's see, a couple of seconds back. You've got Michael Waltrip in 3rd, LaJoie in 4th, Craven has fallen to 5th, Jack Sprague back to 6th, Jim Richards is now in 8th. Kenny Wallace is up to 9th. Butch Gilliam, he's into 10th.
You could see Skinner there having to take a different line than Mark Martin through that corner. It looks like Skinner's car might be a little bit loose. He's using a wider line in 1 and 2 than Martin. Martin using all the racetrack, but he's using that line up. He's not giving Martin anything to work on as far as getting under him through the S's.
There you see his Winston Cup stats. Ooh, Craven is in.
Big time trouble on the right front corner. You can see a lot of damage to the 24 car Craven.
He got nicked and good. Ricky Craven, who had led for some time in this race, driving the Jeff Gordon car. You can see the Japanese TV crew going down there to get us some pictures on that. Alan Bestwick is there to tell us about it.
Ken, it was just a lap ago. I went down and talked to Andy Graves, Ricky's crew chief. He said the tires had gone away on the car. He was all over the racetrack. You can see the results.
That was the story. Here's the story up in front. Mike Skinner, the first man to win in the Craftsman Truck Series of NASCAR, that exciting new series that's grown every year. After 30-plus races in Winston Cup, still looking for that first win. The pole sitter at Daytona this past year is putting on some show against a road racing master in these 4,000-pound-plus Winston Cup stock cars. What an exhibition he is giving these Japanese fans today. Mark Martin right there in second and dropping back a little, buddy.
He's dropping back a little bit. Mike Skinner is a master of saving tires in the truck division. That's one thing you have to be. You have to be extremely nice to the tires because you can't come in and change. So he knows about saving them. He backed off a little bit, took a lower line through the corners, cooled the tires down a little bit, and you can see Mark has lost sight of him there just for a second. He's about 10 car lengths back.
112 of 125 laps are now down. There remain just 18 2/10 miles to decide if Mike Skinner can win in this second NASCAR Thunder Special Suzuka. And there's the lady that made it happen for Mike Skinner. She said, "You have so much talent. We're leaving California. We're going to pack everything and go east and see if we can make it." And by George, they did it, first in the Truck Series, and now look out for this guy in Winston Cup next year.
She had a lot happier face as he was pulling away there, and when he was sideways just a second ago. Mark Martin, all of a sudden, he realized his tires were getting worn. You can see he's eased up. Now he's moving back in. You can see the wheels cut against the slide go off the corner there on the 6th car of Mark Martin.
Building for a great finish. Michael Waltrip stays in 3rd. He's closing up a bit. LaJoy is 4th. Can those front 2 cars go the distance with the fuel they have? We're going to find out in about 15 laps.
In America, there exists a sport that is driven by the fans. They are why everyone works so hard. On the teams and at the tracks, in front of the grandstands and behind the scenes, to give the fans the greatest race possible. NASCAR fans deserve the best, starting from the high banks of Daytona, all the way to the shores of California, and at every race in between. NASCAR fans, you're the reason for our success. Thanks.
With 10 laps to go, Skinner is in 1st. You heard Kevin Hamlin. Crew chief said that with those cautions, they may have enough gas to go the distance. Martin, question mark. Waltrip, question mark. As you look at those top 5, getting ready to settle this one. LaJoy, okay, and there is Craven in. As we understand, he thumped the wall between turns 3 and 4, and now he has metal rubbing on the fender.
You can see turn 3 there. It's pretty blind going through there, and when he got into trouble, he must have got off the course and threw the gravel trap into the outside wall.
The battle for the lead continues between Mike Skinner, breakthrough star for Richard Childress, and right with him comes Mark Martin, right down to the finish on this one. These two locked together.
It's Kenny Irwin there coming at you with no front end on the car, involved in the first lap wreck. Bobby Hamilton, not a player here, caught in the sand trap, lost a lap.
Outside of the front row, about 100 horsepower down from these Winston Cup cars, and he's kept it running, sustaining his drive in a car that has been flown over, or rather brought over, shipped over from Vancouver, British Columbia. And that car has never lost a race on a road course. I believe it has 5 wins to its credit. Mark Martin, the former ASA champion, 3rd place in the Winston Cup Series this year. Oh, look at Skinner beginning to build a bit of a lead here. Could be Martin's cooling his tires for a final run.
Exactly what I was thinking. And also, lap traffic had a lot to do with the gap that they have between first and second. You see Bobby Hamilton went by both front runners there, got good track position, took on off, but he's not a player. He is a lap down.
And Skinner, as you pointed out, a master of saving tires, which was true when he ran in Winston West. Remember, he had some great runs out there before he came east, and also on that Southwest tour.
Well, all Mark Martin has is air in between him and the first place car right now, and some distance to make up. We'll see who has the muscle now. You can see Skinner's car still sliding just a bit out of turn 8 there. Martin looks like he may be closing in ever so little.
You know, buddy, the point that we were talking about at dinner the other night, that Skinner is one of those guys, 6 laps to go, who has built his own cars. He's one of those guys that knows these things front to back, every piece on it, making a lot of difference in the way he performs.
All these guys, but especially Mark Martin, he spent so much time in ASA saving tires with something he knows something about. That's why he wins so many races. But Jack Roush, also a master of road course racing, won 1 million races, you know, with different people driving his cars. I'm sure Mark Martin right now has everything to work with. But don't count out Mike Skinner. He is a good road racer.
And I think the point here is that those drivers today that they are seeking are ones who really understand the geometry of these race cars. And those 2 front runners there very much do.
Absolutely. You have to have a guy that has a good head on his shoulders and somebody that knows if I punish the tires too much, I won't be around at the end. You can see Beth Skinner there watching him come by. Looks pretty good right now. Skinner has a pretty good lead over Mark Martin.
TV monitor down there in every garage, and that was what they're all peering up at. She's come out of there to watch what he's doing. He's built up that much of a lead. Remember that lurking just behind them, Michael Waldrop is there, LaJoy is there, waiting to pounce if anything happens, if they run a little short on fuel.
I bet Richard Childress is watching just with a lot of pride here, because Mike Skinner, when he put him in the second car, he's been very valuable to Dale Earnhardt as far as information on test programs and all. Mike Skinner's a good race car driver.
David Green still 5th. Jim Richards in 6th. We believe Richards can go the distance in this race. Toshia in the 01. Pictures on that car keep cropping up. He's back there in 11th spot. Laps running down. A lot of good drama here in this one. Next year, 2 races in Japan. We're going to see a super speedway for the first time with NASCAR Winston Cup here next year, as well as Suzuka.
You know, you could just see just a second ago, just in front of our leader, Mike Skinner there, the car of Jack Sprague. It hadn't been that long ago that he was fighting for the lead. Now he's about to go a lap down.
Take a look at the top 5 there.
You know, Ken, I'm really concerned about Bill France. To a lot of people in NASCAR, he is NASCAR.
Yeah, but you know, I think he is fine. He's going to be, we hear great reports that he's talked to Betty Jane, told her to stay home. He's going to be in great shape. There's 31 moving by Sprague, now a lap car. Here's Bodine pulling by the number 6 at this point. That's indicative of some problems perhaps on tires for Mark Martin at this juncture in the race as we get down to the final moment. I'll tell you, you know, the Frances have always been such strong personalities. Everyone forgets the great backup they have. When France Sr. ran it, people like Houston Lawing and Pat Purcell and Russ Moyer were always there, and they were much of the strength of the organization. The Pulitzer Prize winner, Henry McLemore, was part of that team, and then France Bill France today has brought on Jim Foster and Jim Hunter and Dennis Huth and a lot of top talent. A lot of smiles down there right now as they saw that move on TV that set the number 6 car of Mark Martin back behind 2 lap cars. I don't think folks realize many times that behind the name France there is so much strength in NASCAR that is strength, and why we have come to what Bill France said exactly what happened. He said in 50 years we are going to be a top major league sport in America, and the TV ratings today alone tell you that. And that's not the act of one man, and of course you can't forget the France family itself. Lisa Kennedy, Brian France, and certainly Jim France. He has been a tremendous strength in this organization for years, and a very quiet fellow, but very much a part. Hey, for that matter, Bill France once told me the toughest negotiator he ever faced was Betty Jane. Getting down to the last lap here in this NASCAR Thunder Special Suzuka. And this is going to be some day. Doesn't matter that it's a non-points race. This was for pride. This was for glory. And Mike Skinner is on his way under a white flag.
I guess he's underway. He's pulled out about a 20-car length lead. You can see down the front straightaway there, Mike Skinner doing a great job saving those tires, picking the throttle up very easy as he moves into turn 2, heading towards the last straightaway here. I'm telling you, he's doing a great job.
Kevin Hamlin made all the right calls on that Bowles car today. And Mike Skinner, who crafted his racing ability on those short tracks in California, whose wife stuck with him through thick and thin and a lot of thin, and finally said, it's time for you to go, went on to the trucks and now into Winston Cup, and he's about to pull one off.
Pulling off his right, turning down into turn 8, heading for the home stretch.
Across the stripe, winning the NASCAR Thunder Special Suzuka is car number 31. Mike Skinner, Susanville, California, has done it here in Japan on this Sunday afternoon. My, what a Sunday afternoon ride he's had. Up, Jack Sprague out of fuel. Jack Sprague, one turn away from the finish, runs out of fuel. Mark Martin will settle for second place. Randy LaJoy will find himself in third. David Green in fourth. Michael Waltrip in fifth. And the Australian great Jim Richards is going to finish not only in the top 10, but in 6th place today. This has been some meeting of champions that we've had across the waters in Japan. Here's today's winning crew chief for our plastic coat winning finish award, Kevin Hamlin.
And Ken, he's talking to his driver, Mike Skinner.
Thank you.
Kevin, what did he say?
Yeah, he's pretty happy with the pit crew right now, I'll tell you that.
Hey, the big question.
Heck of a job today. They did terrific. That's what won the race, besides Mike's good driving there.
Hey, the big question is, how much gas did you have left in that tank?
It's still running. Not a lot.
All right, congratulations, Kevin.
Thank you.
Pride and honor as much as the money here at Suzuka for the stars of Winston Cup, for the stars of the Pacific Rim. Call this day Skinner Day in Suzuka, Japan. He skinned them good. We'll talk to the winner after we take a commercial break. Back to meet the champion of this great event. All right, smoke it up. NASCAR Thunder has never looked better than in this special at Suzuka. Mike Skinner should take a bow. As we came to the finish and he came across the line, he gave him a smoke show like they hadn't seen, pulled into victory lane, climbed out on top, waved his steering wheel at this crowd, and then watch what happened. Off he came and into the crowd. There's folks all around there just over the fence, and I don't think in the history of this track there has ever been a driver that has come forward and up to the crowd as he did moments ago and slapped hands with many of these people that will surround that area that are paying customers. It was a grand moment. And Alan Bestwick is with the man that has created that moment.
All right, he's doing high fives with all kinds of people down here. Mike, congratulations.
Man, I'm going to tell you what. it don't get any better than this. I'll tell you, this team had a tough year all year. We needed some momentum going into Daytona next year. I'll tell you what, we've got a pit crew now. I'll tell you, we struggled at the beginning of the year, tire stops and all. They got us track position. Kevin Hamlin, Dan, everybody on this team, man, I'm going to tell you what, they put me in the car to do it. When you beat Mark Martin on a road course, that's something to be proud of, and I'm so proud you wouldn't believe it. I want to thank Lowe's for coming over here, sending us over here. I want to thank all the vendor partners on this car. Tell you what, without them, Chevrolet, Southeast Wood, Owens Corning, Sylvania, let me see, MTD.
Read the uniform, make sure you forgot it. Make sure you didn't forget anybody.
Anyway, if I missed anybody, I'm sorry.
There you go. Mike, let's talk about those last 25 laps or so. You know it's close on fuel. You got Mark Martin all over your back bumper, lap traffic everywhere. What are you thinking?
Well, I had some good coaches on there. You know, Richard come on there and coached me, and my spotters, you know, Tim and they just did a super job. They coached me every lap, said just keep the wheels straight on that thing. Got to keep the butterflies closed and save the fuel and save the tires and quit looking in the mirror. Don't worry about Mark Martin. He can't do nothing with you today. And I want to really, really congratulate Mark Martin because he ran me clean. He could have probably knocked me out of the way a time or two there when he was all bound up in traffic, but Mark Martin's a class act. And I'll tell you what, I'm proud of him for sitting on the pole and hope he's proud of me for winning this race.
First NASCAR Winston Cup win. Feels pretty good, huh?
Man, I'm going to tell you what, we set goals at the beginning of the year. You know, we wanted to set on the pole, win Rookie of the Year, and win a Winston Cup race our first year. And damn if we didn't do them all. It don't get no better than this. Thank you, Lowe's. Thank you, Chevrolet. Thank you, all the partners. Thank you, everybody, especially Richard and Judy Childress. Judy Childress is the owner here today on this car, and Judy, we done it for you.
I think it's safe to say, Ken, that he has enjoyed his first trip to Japan. Congratulations, Mike Skinner.
I really appreciate that. And Bill France, I know you're watching this thing. Get well, buddy. We can't do this without you. We really need you. And Richard said you're doing good. Get on home, start running this show.
She made it in through the crowd. Here's his wife, Beth. Mike Skinner has won the NASCAR Suzuka Thunder 100 here in Japan. Ken?
There's a champion. There is a champion in the making, no question about it, in the Winston Cup. The best of three continents today, and Mike Skinner reigns supreme. Take a look at all the results here, buddy. As we get this one finished, there's Mark Martin in second, Randy LaJoie in third.
Great run by David Green there, coming home fourth. Michael Waltrip had a good run all day in the Wood Brothers car.
And that Jim Richards from Melbourne, Australia. Boy, he is going to add something to NASCAR racing if they can entice him over the waters to run in Winston West Sun. Toshia in the 01, the drifter, finished in 11th place.
Tough luck for Ricky Craven coming home in 19th. Had problems, got into the wall, but he led today. You know, he had to be proud.
We'll come back here to wrap things up from Suzuka on this Sunday afternoon after these messages.